There's a stash hidden inside the airdrop site we live near. As long as you don't hurt her, we'll take you there, Wang Zihao said calmly. You must be running low on food too, he added. Wang Zihao looked around. There were 10 people in this group, a small but organized team. Judging by their coordination, they didn't seem to have been assembled randomly. They likely knew each other beforehand. But even with their numbers, what they likely needed most was food and weapons. Stalling for time was their best option. Zhang Huaping stopped and turned to look at Wang Zihao, who had just spoken. Su Chang, standing beside Wang, quickly chimed in. Yes, we hid the supplies in our residence. They're safe there. Zhang Huaping chuckled mockingly. And I'm supposed to believe you? What are the odds that an airdrop landed directly in your house, like a heat-seeking missile? Everyone knows that the moment an airdrop appears, people from all around come rushing. Why would you be the lucky ones? Clearly, he wasn't buying it. Wang Zihao tried to reason. Brother Hua, what would we gain by lying? You've got us in your hands. If you found out we lied, we'd be dead anyway. Don't we want to survive too? He added, there's just 3 of us and 10 of you. Do you really think we'd dare to lie? Zhang Huapeng thought it over. It made sense. 3 people couldn't cause trouble with his team watching them, and they didn't need food. Even the zombies on the roadside were being scavenged now. Things were that desperate. Fine, Zhang Huapeng said at last. Deal. But if you're lying, I won't be polite. Now tell me, where is it? Meanwhile, Lin Qin had already left 10 minutes earlier. He and the others reached a fork in the road between the east and west gates. Left led to the east gate, farther away. Right led to the west gate, a shorter route, just a few steps away. They assumed the group from earlier wouldn't be near the west gate from the north side. Still, there were no guarantees. Running into them would be a hassle. After a moment's thought, Lin Qin chose to head toward the east gate. Suddenly, a small stone hit his shoe, making him stop. He turned around. The 3 of them looked toward where the stone had come from and saw a group approaching. 3 people in front were clearly being pushed forward against their will, with others trailing closely behind. Though their voices were muffled, one phrase came through clearly. Brother Hua, there's someone up ahead. Then another voice exclaimed, Whoa, 2 beautiful women. A third chimed in gleefully, Damn, 3 beauties today? We must be lucky. Lin Qin glanced at the 2 women with him, and the third woman walking ahead. Yep, 3 beauties. Nan Wei narrowed her eyes. Something about the group looked familiar. Zhang Shue's expression hardened. They don't look like good people. Let's go. It was obvious. The 3 people in front were captives. Whatever this group was doing, it wasn't friendly. Lin Qin agreed. This wasn't a crowd to mess with. Let's move, he said. He and Zhang Shue turned to leave, but Nan Wei didn't move. After a few steps, Lin Qin frowned and turned back. What are you doing? Let's go. But Nan Wei didn't respond. Instead, she slowly started walking toward the group. Zhang Shue rushed to stop her. Sister Nan Wei, are you crazy? Walking toward them is like walking into a tiger's mouth. But Nan Wei wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on the front of the group. That's Zihao, she said suddenly. Zhang Shue blinked in confusion. Wang Zihao, Nan Wei said again. He's one of the friends I told you about. He's one of the 3 captives being pushed in front. Now it made sense. Lin Qin and Zhang Shue looked closely. Yes, at the front of the group, 3 people were tied up. Lin Qin recognized them too. He'd seen them before on surveillance. One of the captives, a woman, was in worse shape than the 2 men. Her mouth was stuffed with something, tied in place to keep her from spitting it out. As the group approached, the captors began to whistle. Well, are the 2 ladies waiting just for us? One of them shouted, Nanzi, hurry up and bring them over. Brother Hua wants to have a chat. Several large men advanced menacingly. Lin Qin stepped forward calmly, positioning himself in front of Nan Wei and Zhang Shue. He gave a short command, Xiao Xue. When the chance comes, take Nan Wei and get the captives out. Quickly. Then he faced the approaching thugs. One of them sneered, until Lin Qin pulled a rifle from his chest holster. Everyone froze. He's got a gun. Brother Hua, he's armed. The group immediately tensed. Their expressions shifted from smug to greedy. A gun. That changed everything. If they could get their hands on it, They wouldn't need to scavenge or fear the zombies anymore. Their eyes gleamed with dangerous intent. Lin Qin saw it all clearly, even at a distance. Behind him, Nan Wei and Zhang Shui nodded. Lin Qin had given them guns too, though they were tucked into their backpacks. But Lin Qin's weapon was ready, and without hesitation, he opened fire. The rifle was on single-shot mode, controlled and precise. The first shot hit the captor holding Nan Wei's friend. Then, as the two women rushed forward to free the captives, Lin Qin continued firing, covering them with deadly precision. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the three captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. "Shit! Brother Hua, that gun's loaded," someone yelled. "Take cover." "What about the hostages?" another asked. "Who cares? Save yourself." Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nan Wei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now," Nan Wei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other two captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. "Let's go. Stay close." The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people," cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. "This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please, don't shoot." Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go." But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot, 2, 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nan Wei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just 1 house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nan Wei shook her head. "Xiao Xue," she said gently, "go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are." "All right." Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. "Xiao Xue, where are you?" Lin Qin's voice came through. "Oh, right," she realized. "We're next door. Nan Wei said it's safer here." Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nan Wei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt you, Ron, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nan Wei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nan Wei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nan Wei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuan frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The three survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing, and for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control.
Hey, welcome to Firescale Audiobooks. If you enjoy our audiobooks, please consider subscribing to the channel. Also, feel free to share your review in the comments section below.
Lin Qin said again, Don't worry, if you have traces of being bitten by zombies, you'll be infected. If not, nothing will be. Just routine inspections. Nan Wei also attached a piece. It is enough to be injured. An inspection is not a big deal. Lin Qin checked them. Except for some small abrasions on the two men, they are normal, there are no rot, and there are no other mutations, and they have been scabbing. As for girls, they did not check anything. They showed signs of being beaten vigorously, especially on both sides of the cheeks. The blue, purple fingerwishing is particularly obvious. And there are so many zombies outside, and the three people have no traces of being bitten by zombies, which can be regarded as a bit of ability. But it is necessary to be bitten. Okay, it's okay. Lin Qin said, watching Nan Wei waved. After nothing, everyone just sat down again. After all, Lin Qin is a strong man with a gun. Nan Wei had a lot of words to say, and soon forgot Lin Qin and Zhang Shui. The two also knew interest and did not disturb them. Zhang Shui came over and looked at Lin Qin and said, Are we just staying here? Don't go back. Lin Qin tilted his head. Wait, don't worry. Zhang Shui was a little sad. These people don't know what happened yet. Sister Nan Wei either said, or waiting for her friends. This is okay. Her friend has waited. Is it going to leave us to the evacuation point? Lin Qin is indifferent. At present, the most headache for him is the issue of the evacuation point. He has also thought about it seriously, or is planning to wait and see. Follow her. Lin Qin just found a place to sit down and looked at it for 4 weeks. I have been here before. Although not familiar, I also know about the situation. Can't live in these people's own villas. The storage room downstairs is too small, although it is vacant. The second floor is full, and the third floor is even more impossible. The supplies are filled. Of course, the bottom of the materials on the third floor and the attic are ordinary carton boxes, and there are some puffed food snacks. There is not much weight at all. On the one hand, it is because they can cover people's eyes and get materials, at least not too strange. On the other hand, only Lin Qin has a key to enter. Nan Wei brought it here to make him feel a little pleased. Two people sat at the door and waited for not knowing how long. There was a noise behind him. When he tilted his head, he saw Nan Wei said, Can you give some food? They haven't eaten for a long time. Several people who finally found the instant noodles ate and filled the bag. The remaining pack was planned to find him, but it was lost. During this time, the food was given by Lin Qin. Lin Qin nodded and directly threw a school bag. Their food in the school bag, and the biscuit bread, instant noodle mineral water should be available. Nanwei said thanked and walked with the school bag. Several people ate instantly. Soon I filled my stomach. Lin Qin came over and looked at them. Where are you going to go in the future? The three looked at Lin Qin and looked at Nanwei again. Wang Zihao said, we came to Nanwei at first, and we must stay with Nanwei in the future. However, Nanwei, let's go to the evacuation point. There's so many cars on the roadside. As long as the evacuation point, we will be safe. By the way, do you go with us? Now, it is messy outside, not just zombies, but also some ruthless people. Wang Zihao invited. Although he has a great probability that the gun in Lin Qin's hand can play a significant role along the way, but more, it is the safest to go to the evacuation point. It is by no means a bad thing to evacuate with them. Lin Qin was sitting aside without talking. Wang Zihao kept saying, the situation outside is very chaotic. I have discussed with Su Chong, and I have discussed it. It is the fastest way to go to the stadium. Say it is still safe. And there are many intact cars outside, which is enough for us to go to the elevation to the evacuation point smoothly. We have 6 people in total, and a car is just fine. Lin Qin didn't speak, but he couldn't help shaking his head. In this ordinary car, when you see the zombies, you can't run away. As long as the number is over, it is not overturned in minutes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have the time to spend such a big kung fu to the car show to find a car everywhere. Wang Zihao's idea is naive. Besides, there are really few zombies on the elevated, but not at all. Dozens of them must be there. Speaking of this, I don't know if the special police drove the car. Nanwei moved slightly and looked at Lin Qin aside. She stayed here to wait for her friends. Now friends have found her. Nanwei looked at Lin Qin next to him for a while. Lin Qin noticed his eyes and laughed at him lightly. You are settled by yourself. We all respect you. But let's rest today. I went back with Xiaoxua first. Nanwei got up and nodded. Okay. Nanwei signaled that her friends were sitting here and waiting for her to come back, and she followed Lin Qin out. When I came to the gate of the villa, Nanwei gave his backpack to Lin Qin. The rifle was put in a school bag. You rest assured, they did not know. But the bow and arrow were very large. So Lin Qin took the gun. Bow and arrows have been sent to you. He has a lot of guns, but it depends on the situation. If he is a special policeman, he is very willing. But Nanwei, this gun is still collected. With Zhang Shui, Lin Qin returned to his villa. The air conditioner at the time of departure has been turned off. At this time, the room was very hot. Lin Qin turned on the air conditioner and spread directly on the sofa. Comfortable. Zhang Shui was also lying on another sofa, and Yu read the book www.yukangshu.net lying on it. The posture with Lin Qin is actually very different. Looking at the ceiling above her head, Zhang Shui said to himself, Sister Nanwei planned to go with her friends? Lin Qin didn't talk, but closed his eyes. It doesn't matter for Lin Qin who can't walk. But today's gains are very good. Well, I got the muffler, I just thought about it. At this time, the 3 people in the villa relaxed a lot after Lin Qin left. They were lying on the sofa in different postures and looked at Nanwei's back. Who are those 2 people? Just now they are there. Su Chang's face was curious. The prince next to him answered, Didn't Nanwei say that all of them said, saved her? Wang Yuran hit her lips and laughed. Where is so many kindergarten now? I think the man, it must be looking at our Nanwei. Otherwise, why do you save Nanwei? Wang Zihao continued. That's not necessarily. Did you not see the little girl next to him? The eyes stared at the brother is not simple. Su Chong laughed. I stood here. The 3 people were still making trouble, and it seemed to restore the model and status of everyone in the past. Nanwei did not want to make trouble with them, but just said, You can choose a room to live and rest at random. This villa area is relatively safe. Regarding the evacuation point, we're doing detailed planning and discussion later. Seeing Nanwei's unhappy look, the 3 stopped making trouble and nodded their rooms. The living room was quiet at once, and Nanwei sighed. The sky was darkened quickly. In the middle of the night, Lin Qin woke up from his sleep, and the mobile phone under the pillow was constantly vibrating. For black paint, only the mobile phone screen exudes weak light. Lin Qin's eyes were hazy. Click on the video to check. Seeing that around the villa area, many mutant wild dogs were gathered. Is it possible to find the taste in the day? That's so scary. Before Lin Qin reacted, he saw that there was more than this prompt that prompting the shaking of the human form. Lin Qin had to open all the reminders of monitoring and view them one by one. Seeing that in the darkness, a woman flushed the wall and fled here. The mutant wild dog was attracted by her. The motion of wild dogs is not small. The woman climbed across the wall and fell to the ground, watching them scared by the walls of the villa area and moved back a little. Seeing the mutant wild dogs bouncing one by one, trying to cross this high wall. There are still a few stuck in my head, so I can't get in. Women were scared. Crazy from the ground a few times. I don't know if the legs are soft or slippery. Loving monitoring, Lin Qin was seeing what was the real rolling climbing. Looking at the monitoring number carefully, Lin Qin was impatient. This woman is quite a place. Coincidentally, the place where she turned over the wall was next to Lin Qin's villa. The mutant wild dogs are still jumping, and some constantly open their mouths to tear the railings. The railing of the villa should be iron, and should not be bite so easily. When Lin Qin thought like this, Lin Qin found that more and more mutant wild dogs were holding iron railings. As long as the gap is a little larger, even if it is just a little bit, they can get in. Of course, the purpose of mutant wild dogs is not realized. The quality of this iron fence still didn't have to say. There are also a lot of variable wild dogs outside. According to this gathering method, it is likely to pile up the distance and jump in. He didn't know these wild dogs. But if it comes in, it means that it is not safe. Of course, he doesn't matter, but Nanwei has no defense measures in that villa. It is still the most primitive floor to ceiling window. Whether it is zombies in or mutant wild dogs, it will be broken a few times. Lin Qin got up and walked out. Wild dogs do not give up across the fence. When Lin Qin came, the woman ran into his arms in a panic. Lin Qin had to go forward again, and the woman pulled him. "What are you doing? There are mutated wild dogs over there. If you rush into and bite you in the past, it's over." Lin Qin glanced at him and continued to move forward. "Hey, don't you want to die?" Lu Shasha looked at Lin Qin's unnatural look. Looking around, I looked at it. On the one hand, it is safe, and on the other hand, I find death. This man was really not saved. She looked at both sides and then ran in the direction of security. Lin Qin watched the zombie dog outside and shot directly with a gun. The mutant wild dogs outside quickly injured a large number of. After Lin Qin settled, he stepped forward to check the bite marks on the wall. Lu Shasha, who left, heard the slight sound from behind and naturally saw the gun in Lin Qin's hand. After he resolved all the mutant wild dogs outside, the gun in his hand disappeared out of thin air. Lu Shasha couldn't help but widened. Was this his magic? Still mutated? For a while, she was panicked. But soon she calmed down. It should not be mutated, otherwise how can it solve those ghosts outside? There should not be much threat to herself, otherwise she would never let go of herself when she hit him. Calm down. Now there is a gun in the opponent's hand, and the safety of this stuff can be greatly guaranteed. If she goes out now, when a wave of favors, the problem should not be big. The light was dim, and Lu Shasha saw the other party go to the fence. The opportunity is here. She rushed forward and pulled Lin Qin's hand to drag in the opposite direction. He said while running, "It's not safe there. It's better to hurry up." Lin Qin condensed his eyebrows, and this woman pulled his strength. She bumped straight in the villa, and at least she could not turn through the faint light by the road. Soon I found a villa with the door of the courtyard and walked in. She collapsed on the ground of the yard and said to Lin Qin, "I thought I was usually remote, no one, and there would be much less zombies. Who knows that there are so many dogs here? Still a zombie dog. Serious. Emma, I'm tired of me. I can't run anymore." Lin Qin. Is this person talking? Through the dim light, Lin Qin didn't know what the other person looked like. She could only hear her mumble. Lin Qin stood silently. After speaking for a long time, She seemed to find that there were other people here. Looking at Lin Qin again, that I'm sorry, I just hand. She didn't know what she was confused. It's just a stupid one. Yu reading www.yuukangshu.net. Lin Qin didn't care and saw her soberly at the moment, turned around and left. There is some dark on the trail, but there is a little light in the distance, so it is not all blind. Barely, you can still see clearly. The man in front of her seemed to wear pajamas. When he just pulled him, it seemed that there was a clean taste, that is, the smell of a laundry fluid washed the clothes after drying the clothes. She moved her eyes and followed him quietly. This man should be good. Lin Qin found a way back in the villa. The more you go, the more Lu Shasha thinks it is very familiar here. Didn't she leave from here that the mutant wild dogs just left? She squatted down and hid behind the green belt on the side of the road. Then the less obvious lights saw that he opened the big iron door and walked in. Is this villa where he lives? Lu Shasha's gaze stared at the villa and gradually showed surprised eyes. This house is different from other villas. There are anti-theft windows outside, and this gate is a Real iron gate. There are also power grids on the wall, even if there are heavy curtains across. There was also a faint light coming. Thinking of the gun I saw at that time, and the ability to disappear out of thin air, Lu Shasha is thinking. Then return to the villa, just hid. She closed the door of the yard. Then roll out your keychain out of your own school bag. The keychain is the shape of an astronaut, and there is a place in the middle of the belly that can emit light. The buttons behind the astronauts. The light in the belly is a light purple sandwich with a touch of yellow. This light is obvious in the night. It will not be caught in a complete darkness. It is also a small flashlight. I was still inadvertently saw this keychain in the Chawa store and found that it was a small electric lamp. I bought it when I felt interesting. Unexpectedly, it would play a role at this time. She carried her backpack on her back, raised her hand to cover her eyes randomly behind her ears, holding the keychain and preparing to enter a completely strange villa. The door of the villa was closed. She did not blindly go in, but knocked on the door. After listening to the door for a while to make sure that there were no sounds and movement in the inside, she opened the door and walked in. However, the moment the door opened, a corpse fell down directly and pressed Lu Shasha's feet. She was startled, biting her mouth, and jumped a laser dance. The corpse was directly knocked on the other side of the door. Without hearing the action, it was confirmed that the zombie was dead, and then it gradually calmed down. Lu Shasha covered her heart, took a deep breath several times, and held the astronauts in her hand to make up. The dead body looks pretty long, rotten and pus, attracting a lot of flies. The room is full of odor everywhere. The laser dance danced. A lot of rotten flesh dropped. Lu Shasha resisted with the nausea in the bottom of her heart and retreated very disgustingly. Looking at the dirty things on the upper, I ended up and went in to find a clean tablecloth and wiped it, then left the yard. There are many houses in the villa area. After thinking about it, she ran to the back of the villa where the man was just now. Pry the door one by one. Such a movement is not large, but if someone is in such a sound, it is enough for them to respond. Lu Shasha came to a new villa, and it was particularly clean. That was, all the furniture was covered with a layer of dust. It seems that this villa has been lived for a long time, and the owners of the villa are all overwhelmed. But just right, it is safe here. In the long-lasting houses, a lot of dust was suffered, and a lot of footprints were seen in the ground of the living room. It looks particularly messy, but the footprints are getting gone. Those who want to come in to collect materials also see the dust-proof cloth here. No one lives naturally nothing. There is no need for collection. Looking at this scene, Lu Shasha was very satisfied. Closing the door of the room, she reached out and waved the dust in front of her and went directly to the second floor. Standing on the balcony on the second floor, she can see the villa full of anti-theft windows. I don't know how to live in. Nympho. The night was quiet, and Nan Wei couldn't sleep. There are enough rooms in the villa, and one person has a free room. But I didn't sleep in Lin Qin today, but Nan Wei was a little uncomfortable. It's not because of being unsafe. The safety factor of the villa area is much more secure than the outside. She can't sleep over and over, just because the next situation is not controlled by herself. The decision right is in Lin Qin's hands. Wang Zihao found himself and wanted to go to the evacuation point. But on the way to the evacuation point, the variables are too large. Even Lin Qin may not be able to reach safely. She wants to leave her friends and follow Lin Qin. The chance of surviving is a high chance. But the question is how she can persuade Lin Qin to have a headache. Nympho. Lin Qin got up early the next day. The sky is gray, with a trace of coolness. Lin Qin randomly moved his bones and then entered the room. Brush your teeth and wash your face. Eat breakfast. There is no difference between everything, except a bit boring. However, Nanwei was not there, and Lin Qin felt unexpectedly comfortable. Zhang Shui is herself, so there is no need to prepare, but Nanwei is different. Lin Qin was not sure how long she planned to stay, so don't light up so early. Breakfast is very casual. When Zhang Shui slowly got up, Lin Qin had prepared breakfast. Wow, what day is it today? Eat so well, and tea eggs. After Zhang Shuyan washed his face, he saw the breakfast full of tables. Breakfast is actually nothing special. The problem is that tea eggs appear not scientific. Lin Qin did not matter. He took an egg and peeled with an egg. Hurry up, you can't do you after you want to eat. Zhang Shuexin was great and ate happily. He ate breakfast quickly. Nanwei came to Lin Qin's villa door alone and knocked on the door. Looking at the corpses of the mutant wild dogs accumulated outside the fence next to the fence, I think about it. Zhang Shui took a sip of soy milk and raised her head. Ooh, is it Nanwei? Let me see. Zhang Shui rose up and ran out bravely. Seeing that it was Nanwei, she opened the door and asked her to come in. Nanwei did not hesitate to come in. It's just that Zhang Shui watched only Nanwei alone, a little doubtful. Sister Nanwei, what about you, friends? Yu reading book www.yuyukangshu.net. I came to Lin Qin about things today. They're still waiting for me over there. Zhang Shui nodded and didn't ask much. The rice in the room is much better than there. Early in the morning, several of them chewed bread, and they didn't dare to eat more. Lin Qin stood at the staircase entrance like waiting for her for a long time. Let's go, follow me. Nanwei nodded and followed upstairs. When the bedroom in the room was closed, Lin Qin sat on the sofa and looked at her. Think about it. Nanwei nodded. Think about it. My friends will go to the withdrawal point by themselves, but before they go to the evacuation point, they will stay here for a while. In addition, they want to ask you one thing. Can you help them go to the evacuation point safely? Nanwei was a little nervous when he said this. The current situation is very complicated. No one will be a big grievance to take the danger of life to send others to evacuate. This request agreed, unless a silly lack. Lin Qin raised his eyebrows, apparently felt that it was a bit outrageous. Here is he to send it? Why? Nanwei stuck his fingers nervously and looked up. I know this problem is more outrageous. They mainly think that you will be safer to have a gun. The more Nanwei has no confidence, and the voice is getting smaller and smaller. Forget it. I will tell them clearly with them. I don't want you to do it for you, but I have a request. I want to ask you, if I want them to be safe to the evacuation point, is there any safer way? That is, can you specify a solution with a relatively high probability of survival for them? In Nanwei's view, Lin Qin was able to decorate the house early like this, and even the weapons and food on his body were unmatched by ordinary people. It should be easier to go to the safety point. Even if it is just a safer travel plan, it should not be a problem. But Nanwei took Lin Qin too. He doesn't have such a big ability, and there is nothing to ensure absolute travel at all. Sorry, I can't help you. The stadium is half an hour to drive here. It sounds fast, but the actual operation is not as simple as we say. First of all, you don't know what you will encounter on the road, nor do you know the number of zombies distributed, whether driving will be enclosed by zombies, and a series of situations are uncontrollable. Nanwei, haven't you ever seen a car before being blocked by the zombies and finally turned aside? This matter should not need to say anything, right? Nanwei took a deep breath and only felt deeply weak. I didn't sleep one night yesterday, just thinking about these things. She only came up with 3 solutions. 1. Let Lin Qin go together. This plan was killed by himself at the time. Second, Lin Qin formulated a pretty safe solution. I was just killed. The third is to let Lin Qin agree with them to join the team. This problem is a more reliable problem. Joining the team means that there is no need to worry about food, but the probability of Lin Qin's consent should not be high. In comparison, they have to have their own value to stay in the team. But as long as Lin Qin did not directly deny, there was still a little hope. After hesitating for a long time, she said, "Then can they join this team like me?" "Don't worry, I dare to guarantee that they are absolutely obedient." Nan Wei vowed. Lin Qin took his mouth and thought about it. "I don't have idlers here. They join, and they must go out to find materials. It is impossible to stay in a house. You must understand this. I'm not a charity. At most, you can allow you to live here and live next door, but others can only be self-reliant. Living here is already Lin Qin's biggest concession. You know, in the entire villa area, Lin Qin intends to build a safe shelter that is absolutely isolated. He couldn't control the place, at least the whole villa area. But it is just a preliminary cleanup to close the door. The possibility of being unable to stop the surroundings or foreigners coming in. In the future, the villa area will also need to continue to build a higher defense. It is definitely a bit difficult to rely on himself, but it is not impossible to absorb other people. But the newcomer lies in the problem that it is difficult to manage and control. Lin Qin feels that he is not yet intended to accept new personnel to join. Mainly, there are more men, and there are more disagreements. If they absolutely obey and obedient, they can also consider it. Nan Wei nodded. "I know. You can rest assured. What do you do in the future? We will never add chaos to you. You're the team that we are responsible for searching for materials, or you are looking at the door. Moreover, we will never bother you." Lin Qin, "I haven't agreed yet." Nan Wei, "That's okay. You don't promise to actually expect it. If it is me, the probability will be the same." Lin Qin nodded. "Express this." After thinking about him, "What are your friends? What is your name?" "Ah." Nan Wei was stunned for a while, and some stumbled. "The girl is called Wang Yuran. If you pay attention to the entertainment industry, you should know it. The other two, the tall one is Su Chong. The shorter is Wang Zihao." Su Chong, Wang Zihao? When Lin Qinju thought about it, Nan Wei looked up at him with a tentative. "You ask what they do?" After returning to God, Lin Qin waved his hand. "No, just ask. Go back first. I'll think again." Nan Wei nodded and had to go back first. At this time, Lin Qin was in trouble. In his impression, in fact, I don't know when these people can persist. In Nan Wei's team, there seems to be no one named Wang Yuran. In his few memories, there was no at all. The other two men are familiar with the outline, but the difference is too big. The men who rescued him at the beginning were obviously very rough, who Li's image. And now the two people are simply small fresh meat. It seems that it is fake, but there's a little bit. If he wants to build safety, he does need several guards. It is best if it is an acquaintance. I just don't know if these people can obey. Nan Wei left Lin Qin's room. When I came downstairs, Zhang Shui was still eating breakfast slowly. When she saw her down, she was even invited. "Sister Nan Wei, have you eaten breakfast? Eat something together." Nan Wei just shook his head and looked back at the stairs behind him. Lin Qin seems to have a different relationship with Zhang Shui. "I heard something about my brother before. Yu reading www.yuyukiangshu.net. Maybe it would be better to find her for help." Thinking of this, Nan Wei walked next to Zhang Shui and asked tentatively, "Xiao Shui, is your relationship with Lin Qin very good? Should it be considered good?" Zhang Shui nodded. "What's wrong?" Nan Wei said, "That's it. Can my friends join the team? It's not safe outside. I'm currently going to settle here for a while, and I will have the opportunity to evacuate the point when I have the opportunity later. You see, can you say hello to Lin Qin?" Zhang Shui's aid action was lingering. "Sister Nan Wei, I don't want to help this matter. I'm actually useless in this kind of thing, just don't dislike me. So, can he stay or he's settled?" Seeing that Zhang Shui had no decision, Nan Wei couldn't help but lose some. Could it be that her friends still have to leave here? Although she did not have many days with Lin Qin, but it is very clear that in this surrounding, this villa area is the safest place. Lin Qin also intends to make the villa area a safe place. Then it is bound to be missing. She's not a whole chance now. Nan Wei came in a hurry. Lin Qin didn't stay upstairs for a long time and walked down from the second floor. Zhang Shui was cleaning the plate, watching Lin Qin, who couldn't help asking. Sister Nan Wei just left. Lin Qin, is there something wrong with Sister Nan Wei? Sister Nan Wei's friends are actually okay. I don't feel like a bad person. Lin Qin didn't respond to this, just looked at her. Have you contacted your brother these days? If not, you are worried about your brother. Zhang Shui was stunned for a while, and then whispered complaining. It's not my brother. You are his good brother. I can treat you as a brother. What? You won't let it go? Why dare not tell my brother when eating my tofu before sting? Zhang Shui put the clean plate and put it hard. Her face was unhappy. Lin Qin naturally heard her whisper. Suddenly, the embarrassment rushed into my heart again. I will cry if I continue. He didn't know her relationship with Zhang Jian, and she was so proactive. It's a man who will let it go. Lin Qin converged his thoughts and planned to formulate a detailed plan. The villa area is currently not completely independent. People outside, if they want to come in, they could be at any time. In the past few days, there are many people who come in. Even if the door is closed, the railing fence in the villa area is too low. Delegrid, you have to send someone to stare. If Zhang Zihao and Su Chong can serve as the guards, he feels that it is not as much as possible. In this way, the villa area is a small asylum that belongs to him. Thinking about it like this, it is not impossible. As a decision-making idea, Lin Qin shouted at Zhang Shui. Xiao Shui, pack it, let's go next door. Zhang Shui hurriedly wiped her hand and then followed. At this time, the atmosphere in the villa was low. The news brought by Nan Wei is not good. The three looked at each other and felt very heavy. Lin Qin did not agree with the idea of joining the team, which means that after a short trimming, they still have to go to the evacuation point. Those zombies on the road, other survivors who are not good at. It is possible to get their life at any time. This is a dangerous decision, but staying here for a long time without a strong person will die sooner or later. Needless to say, Lin Qin's strength, they already saw it yesterday. It will be better to follow him to join the team you didn't know. Especially in their teams, Wang Yuran grows too beautifully, and it will attract a lot of men who are in trouble. This matter, they're still serious, they will still count. Since the outbreak of the zombies, it was the first time they slept sweetly last night, so they don't have to be frightened. The roar of the zombies at night seems to be much smaller than before. Such peace, she doesn't want to break. Wang Yuran pursed his lips and whispered, Nan Wei, is there really no room for ease? Then Nan Wei lowered his head. Su Chan took a deep breath, so let me talk about it. A few of us will not do nothing. The food in the team can be responsible with Zihao. When Lin Qin came, the atmosphere was not good. Su Chong is still talking about what he can do and intends to convince himself. Hearing the movement, a few people were like the enemy. When I saw Lin Qin, I was relieved again. Nan Wei pulled the bow and put it down for an instant, looked at Lin Qin, and looked at the door behind them, some surprised. How did you get in? You didn't lock in your door. How did you say came in? When he came with Zhang Shui, he wanted to knock on the door, but the door of the yard was not locked, but just covered it. But it's not just easy to come in. Seeing that people came, Su Chong got up very eye-catching. How can we discuss how you agree with us? Actually, my brother knows your concerns. The current situation is already the case. It is not good to have a few more idlers, and you don't know if we are good or bad, and even more guarantees are fake. Without Nan Wei, you will definitely not save us yesterday, we understand. But even if you understand, we want to fight for it. Nan Wei also told us that this villa area has been cleaned up by you. When we came yesterday, the door was locked again. So we came in the wall, and the wall was very low, so we came in easily. But now that everyone can go through the wall, you want to clear all the zombies here and turn into an independent safety place. Obviously unlikely. But we can give you as a gatekeeper, take care of everything in this community, or go out to collect materials. In short, we can do everything. Su Chong said it was quite sincere, but Lin Qin hadn't spoken yet. and Wang Yinran stood up. She stepped forward to hold Lin Qin and arranged him on the nearest sofa. Brother Lin, we really want to join this team, and we will obey your arrangements well, really. Xiao Shue, who was standing aside, frowned and looked at Wang Yuran to help Lin Qin's hand. His face is not very good. Lin Qin sat in front of the sofa and thought about it seriously. You can wait for enough materials or meet a special police officer. Go to the evacuation point. Yu reading book www.yuyukangshu.net. But I need to make it clear. During this time, you must be self-reliant. And, according to what you said, help me see the door. I have cleaned up the zombies in the villa area, but during this time, I slipped in a lot of other survivors. What you need to do during this time is to see the door. At the same time, you can't let outsiders come in. Those who have already come in don't need to worry about it. I will find ways to solve them one by one. Of course, it is not impossible if you want to go out to find materials together. After I surround the villa area completely, these are not a problem. Wang Zihao, Su Chong looked at each other and relieved it obviously. Thank you so much. I really don't know what to say, but you can rest assured, we will definitely do something well. However, don't rush, don't think so happy first. I still have something to say. If you can accept it, it is not too late. Lin Qin thinks far away. There should be only 2 households in the villa area now, and the woman in the last night should be 3. However, the other 2 households are far away from themselves and closer to Shimen. If the villa is divided into 2 districts from the middle, this project is too large. He does not have so many manpower and material resources to build walls from the middle. But there is no doubt, if the fence around the villa, if he adds a grid, it should be a lot better. The villa was originally a power grid, and several places have been damaged and unavailable, so a new power grid that can be used is needed. However, if it is not difficult for him to have this grid, it is difficult to appear in things out of thin air. And now, can I go there? Lin Qin couldn't help but aim at the grid of other community fences. This kind of hardship, of course, someone can do it. Lin Qin did not hesitate to assign each other. I need to install the power grid on the wall around the villa now, and 2 generators are needed. No matter what the 2 of you use or where to go, as long as you can get it, the pliers you need in this process are still those messy. I can provide you with it. This question, think about it. Wang Zihao and Su Chong were also aggressive. Let them go to the power grid and generator. This stuff is not just available for ordinary people. Fortunately, the grid is that most communities are available, at least visible. Isn't this a generator? Isn't this difficult? In this big city, there are several generators. 2 people were in trouble. Isn't this reasonable to make trouble? Bite a bite, Su Chong said. Okay, I should be in this matter, but you have to remember what you said. When we come, we can be regarded as joining the team. The evacuation point. Before leaving, we will not have the 2 hearts, you can rest assured. However, as a friend of Nanwei, we still want to persuade you to go with us to evacuate. We must be inaccurate now, but I hope you can think early. Lin Qin raised his eyebrows and laughed. Of course, I will consider it carefully. In the future, everything is not allowed. Even Lin Qin himself is unclear, but it should be considered seriously. Maybe it does not mean not. However, since it was confirmed that they had left them, Nan Wei's heart also fell. Wang Yuran smiled, sitting next to Lin Qin. 2 people were next to each other. Zhang Shui couldn't help but raise his mouth. What is so happy to do? Lin Qin did not notice the abnormality. She looked at the person in a house and called Nan Wei out. The 2 stood in the yard. Just listen to Lin Qin road. The generators they found are placed in this villa. You use it yourself. On the other, I will find a way to study how to connect with the power grid. But you can remind them that the generator is best to find that kind of no noise. There is basically no sound in the basement. Nan Wei nodded. The 2 of them will go out this afternoon, and I will go out to find materials with words. But you can take them. I still thank you very much. Nan Wei looked at Lin Qin, and her eyes were grateful. In fact, people like him cannot accept their friends. She's a bit grateful. Lin Qin hooked his lips and then passed. Nan Wei clenched his fingers nervously and looked at Lin Qin's bigger and bigger face. They were close to the taste of the other person. It is a very light fragrance. Nan Wei couldn't help but pounded his heart, and even looked forward to Lin Qin's next move and did not dare to look at him. In his mind, he couldn't help thinking of the friends who had fun yesterday, and said that Lin Qin liked himself. The ears gradually became red. You, but Lin Qin just leaned on Nan Wei's ear and whispered softly, "Actually, you don't need to thank me. You are all on your face." Lin Qin withdrew his body and looked at Nan Wei's shameful ears. "Some surprises. How did your ears red?" Nan Wei was even ashamed. He looked up at Lin Qin and lowered it. You know you still ask me." Nan Wei's thoughts turned hundreds of times, and he couldn't think of a refutation. When she finished speaking, she realized what she said. "That's all for now." Her cheeks were crimson and turned around. When Zhang Shui came out, she saw that Nan Wei ran into the room a little bit and did not even call her. She looked at Nan Wei and looked at Lin Qin again. What happened?" Lin Qin laughed, but felt strange. "For so long, I have never seen Nan Wei's innocence." Facing Zhang Shui's inquiry, Lin Qin just shook his head. "Nothing, go back. Mood good." Today, Lin Qin did not intend to go out. Those zombie dogs I met in the middle of the night may be still hovering nearby. Lin Qin brought Zhang Shui back to the villa, but suddenly rushed out of a woman. Lin Qin made a closer look. "Isn't this woman the one that was midnight yesterday? Oh my God, I waited for you for a long time and finally came out." Lu Shasha looked at Lin Qin, and her face was full of happiness. Before waiting for Lin Qin to speak, she was like the bullet of the machine gun, and she output, "Little brother, this house is yours? Sister is good to see the house. Can you live for a few days? You can rest assured that your sister will not live in vain. Just give my sister a place where you can live. Baozhong let you. Stay in the room every day and don't want to go out." Having said that, Lu Shasha reached out and stroked Lin Qin's chest. The enchanting attitude, the eyes of the pretentious. Zhang Shui stepped forward and held Lu Shasha's triumph. You reading book www.ukenshu.net who? You don't know which one will come from. Your old woman, really hungry and thirsty, take off the street. There are many successives. Didn't you see that it was the Lord? Zhang Shui threw off the woman's hand fiercely. I wipe my hands very much. Women are not annoyed. Watching Zhang Shui's stinky girl smile contempt. Little sister, you haven't experienced it yet, my sister me, but you are very experienced than you. It is better to wait for men, especially if I have no other requirements. Just give me a place to live. Yesterday, I was frightened. A bunch of zombie dogs. If it weren't for this little brother, I would die under the mouth of those beasts. Sister, just want to thank you for life. For Lu Shasha, men are all creatures in the lower body. Sacrifice the other, and stay beside this man to live. If you still wander as before, death is a matter sooner or later. Seeing Lin Qin's ability last night, she felt that this man deserves his own bedding. It's nothing to be thicker. Zhang Shui's face was white, pushed Lin Qin hard, and then squeezed among the two people, pointing at Lu Shasha and scolded. I have seen shameless people who have never seen you so shameless. The more you say, the more excited the two are. Seeing that the two had pushed up, they became more and more scolded. Lin Qin shook his head, continued to go forward, and returned to the villa. Looking at Zhang Shui's posture, it is unlikely to lose money. Behind him, Nan Wei heard the movement outside and stretched his neck to check. I saw Zhang Shui quarreled with a completely strange woman. However, as soon as Lin Qin met the door of the yard, he suddenly realized a thing. This woman also attracted a lot of mutant wild dogs last night. Although all the chasing were resolved by Lin Qin, there were more than that nearby. The two of her too, like the elementary school students who were afraid of attracting zombies. Still deliberately, want to harm Zhang Shui. Lin Qin couldn't help but frowned, walked to Zhang Shui's next to Zhang Shui, and carried Zhang Shui, who was still in the quarrel, and walked on his shoulders. He shouted loudly at the same time, Nan Wei, close the door, hurry up. Zhang Shui was frightened by Lin Qin's arbitrary move, grabbing his clothes in a panic. What happened? However, Lin Qin did not reply at all. Even Lu Shasha, who was still talking about. When she returned to God, she could only see Lin Qin and Zhang Shui back to her villa. Lu Shasha couldn't help but sigh. Today, there will be no tomorrow. Anyway, come to Japan. I was not as intuitive as I saw in the middle of the night yesterday. The anti-theft window of the villa was just the tip of the iceberg. As close as possible, she can see that there is a layer of iron in the anti-theft window. Even the surrounding walls are much higher than the surrounding walls. It won't be long after. She is the hostess of this villa. At that time, this little Nizi still wanted to take a look with her. The sound of quarrels attracted a few zombies. Through the railing, they can only grow up in vain, and they can't get in at all. Lu Shasha was proud of face and did not take the things outside. In her opinion, she couldn't get in at midnight yesterday, and I couldn't get in today. With a cold hum, Lu Shasha planned to flow long and long. Such a villa was too unique in the end. I believe anyone can see that there is no one who wants to occupy it. In just 30 seconds, the more the zombies outside became more and more, and Lu Shasha did not realize the seriousness of the problem. After she reacted, a large number of zombies and mutant wild dogs gathered outside the wall and continued the unfinished move yesterday. But yesterday was the only wild dog, and they couldn't jump up. But there are more zombies today. The zombies were crowded in front of the front, and a ladder was formed. The mutant wild dog stepped directly on the body of the zombie and rushed in one by one. Lu Shasha didn't even run 2 steps before and was bitten by the mutant wild dog. The more the mutant wild dogs gathered, and Lu Shasha's limbs were torn. The painful pain made her very painful, but she was fainted quickly. The mutant wild dogs will not show mercy, and after a while, they will be completely eaten. Lin Qin and others were hiding in their own villas, and they saw that more and more zombie dogs came in suddenly, and their faces were serious. Zhang Shui was scared to make a sound. Lin Qin stood in front of the window on the 2nd floor and opened the corner of the window outward. I saw the mutant wild dogs that had a full stomach suddenly became bigger. After eating the corpses on the ground, they did not completely dissipate and patrolled the new territory in the villa area. Outside, more and more mutant wild dogs stepped on the zombies and entered the villa area. As soon as Lin Qin shouted, Nan Wei closed the door of the outside yard, and the door of the villa closed tightly. Unlike Lin Qin, they dare not make a sound. The defense of this villa is not as high as Lin Qin. A little careless, these mutant wild dogs can tear them and break in. In particular, zombies have evolved. The wall outside, it won't last long under such a huge number of zombies. Wang Zihao turned his head carefully, reached out and patted Nan Wei, who stared at him tightly and wanted to ask. Nan Wei immediately stopped his index finger on his lips and shook his head, said that Wang Zihao should not make a sound. But it's too late. The mutant wild dogs outside heard the sound and came over. The wall of the villa yard is the kind of half-brick, half-cut iron vertical fence. The door is iron style. There's a gap. Fortunately, the gap is very small. But even so, these mutant wild dogs hit the door desperately, making a banging sound. Zhang Kai's teeth desperately bite the door. Their teeth were extremely sharp, and Nan Wei saw that the hardcore under the door was bitten. It's over. At this time, Lin Qin naturally noticed this scene. Although the mutant zombie dog in the middle of the night was bitten, it didn't look so powerful now. All the mutant wild dogs that had just ate meat seemed to have become bigger. Before waiting for him to speak, Zhang Shui suddenly whispered in his ear, "How do I feel those dogs have become bigger?" The difference between seeing it with his own eyes, Zhang Shui felt very shocked. Will the zombies eat something? Lin Qin froze. Zhang Shui also saw it. It proves that he was not dazzling. Combined with the report some time ago, zombies are enhanced. Then it is mutation. Is it evolved by eating survivors, or their similar evolution? UU reading book www.uukangshu.net. When Lin Qin was still thinking about it, the door over there had been bitten by the mutant wild dog and rushed in directly from a gap. The floor to ceiling window does not have much resistance at all. The weapon of mutant wild dogs is comparable to zombies, and it is not small. A few times the impact broke the ground. The mutant wild dog poured into the yard. Zhang Shui watched this scene, and it was anxious. Sister Nanwei is over. What to do? Do we want to help them? When Zhang Shui turned back, he saw that Lin Qin was already carrying a gun at this time, and there was a plastic bag full of grenades on his arms. Seeing it, she lost a gun and gave her. Zhang Shui hurriedly took over. Lin Qin was holding a gun, quickly went downstairs, and Zhang Shui followed behind. Aren't we going to save Sister Nanwei? What do we do now? Lin Qin hurriedly walked to the first floor and gave her the keys to her while walking. You go to the top of the building and shoot at those mutant wild dogs. Ah, Zhang Shui stunned, but then turned upstairs. During this time, Lin Qin taught her a lot. The head of archery, also fired a gun yesterday, which is not difficult. But she was still a little scared. However, the situation over there, fear of nothing can be done. Hurrying upstairs, Lin Qin himself quickly closed the iron skin on the window on the first floor. After being completely closed, the first floor was already in the dark. Then he rushed to the second floor and the third floor. Close all the iron skin, and then continue to the attic. The attic is only half. Opening the door is a small flat balcony leading to the roof. Zhang Shui had fired and killed a few mutant wild dogs. But most of the mutant wild dogs poured into the opposite villa, and they could not be exposed at all. There is no way. She can only try to intercept other mutant wild dogs that constantly pour into the villa. When Lin Qin came, she was trying to solve the mutant wild dogs that rushed to there. Standing next to it and looking down. Around his villa, there were many mutant wild dogs. However, Lin Qin's wall was reinforced. The original iron fence was demolished. The wall was built, and the steel bars were also. The wild dogs that resist these mutations are more than enough. Lin Qin brought a walkie-talkie, calmly. Nanwei, I'm going to throw a grenade now. You find a good place, it is best to leave that villa. As soon as the words fell, Zhang Shui next to him said, Nanwei is on the top of the building. Lin Qin looked up and saw Nanwei, and others ran to the top of the villa. The two sides stood on the top of the building and looked at each other. The two men dragged the door of the attic and did not dare to let go. Seeing this scene, Lin Qin took the ear covered in the shooting club before. This thing can isolate most of the sound, at least not bomb tinnitus, by such a close-range explosion. He also wore Zhang Shui. Lin Qin directly threw the grenade into the mutant wild dog downstairs, and at the same time threw it into the zombies on the wall. After the explosion sounded, Lin Qin was ready early, and his voice didn't feel too loud. It seems that the 5 internal organs seemed to resonate with the explosion. I just felt buzzing and moved twice. Lin Qin did not count, and the action was like those automated machines. The grenade full of the plastic bag is full. At this time, the zombie corpse rushed into the villa area. The corpse of the mutant wild dogs accumulated into a hill. The wall was also exploded. Wherever you pass, there is only the situation of Nanwei's side. Like Lin Qin's magic, he brought a grenade with a plastic bag to Zhang Shui. If there's a zombie from this gap, you can open this ring and throw it down. The explosion is 5 seconds, do you understand? Zhang Shui nodded. Lin Qin was wearing protective gear. He looked at the 4 weeks carefully all the way to the villa where Nanwei was. There were a lot of corpses in the yard, and the big iron door hung on the side. Lin Qin made a fighting posture and kicked the iron door to avoid the corpse and walked into the yard. The floor to ceiling windows in front of them were all broken, and the door was intact. There is a wolf burrowing in the living room. Lin Qin was holding a gun, stepped on the broken glass fragments, and made a squeak of a slight sound. From the kitchen, a mutant wild dog suddenly came out. Lin Qin immediately fired, and when the mutant wild dog rushed out, he made it a sieve. A bang fell to the ground. Such a movement attracted those mutant wild dogs stuck in the attic. They ran downstairs all the way. There was no small movement on the floor. Just listening to the sound, there are a lot of. Lin Qin bears the heat around him, and the cold sweat on his forehead was left without daring to wipe. He will listen carefully to the movement above, count the speed of seconds, and lose a grenade on the corridor. He hit at the wall of the corner of the stairs, and only listened to the bang. The armrests of the solid wood of the staircase were fried, and the mutant wild dogs that were crazy crowded downstairs were also fried. Lin Qin stood out from the wall, raising the gun, and the mutant wild dogs that kept on the stairs shot. After a shuttle, Lin Qin's hand will immediately appear in a new folder, and the old one is directly unloaded to the new one. You can complete a second change in an instant. Continue to shoot mutant wild dogs. The power of the grenade is not small, and the stairs collapsed halfway. The reinforced concrete inside is exposed. The corpse of many mutant wild dogs is stacked on this turning flat layer and dropped directly from the bombed gap. The mutant wild dog corpses on the stairs piled up, and then the weight tilt fell again. Lin Qin just shot a shot and went upstairs. After the bullets were fought, Lin Qin quickly changed the magazine. Suddenly, the staircase entrance on the second floor, a magnificent, murderous wild dog looked at Lin Qin, who is comparable to that of the Aragas strain, looked at Lin Qin. Lin Qin did not hesitate to shoot, but the mutant wild dogs flew over. Want to suppress Lin Qin under his body. But this is the stairs. Lin Qin rolled down the stairs directly. Muting wild dogs are not surprised. The two slipped directly into the living room. Lin Qin hit his head, and he also hung a lot of color. It's all about bumping the stairs. Fortunately, the protective gear was brought, and the blood left on the staircase's mutant wild dogs did not touch his eyes and mouth, but the clothes must be dirty. The bones of all my body hurt. It really hurts to be bitten by a mutant wild dog with such a large physique. But Lin Qin had no time to check himself. The mutant wild dog also quickly turned over and fell from upstairs. The impact on it was not great. Holding his head and rushing to Lin Qin. These are just a moment. You reading www.ukanshu.net. Lin Qin across the rifle in front of him, resisting the two front paws of the mutant wild dog. But mutant wild dogs were still struggling, trying to bite Lin Qin. Its strength is not small, even a bit heavy. Just when Lin Qin was about to support from the top of the stairs, he ran down a lot of mutant wild dogs again. Seeing that they were about to bite themselves, Lin Qin stretched out his legs against the belly of the mutant wild dog and kicked it away with exhaustion. Even when he got up, he fired directly on the ground. Kill a few mutant wild dogs that rushed in the front. Lin Qin Shun sat up and then stood up from the ground. With a bloody battle, Lin Qin went upstairs. There was an explosion sound outside. It seems that the zombies gathered again. You have to speed up. Layout went upstairs and solved several mutant wild dogs just on the third floor. Lin Qin came all the way to the top floor. The door of the attic has broken a lot of holes. If it wasn't for Lin Qin to come in time, it would be only a matter of time to break the door. Lin Qin resolved several mutant wild dogs around. From the cave on the door, I saw Nanwei opposite. Nanwei, it's me. The familiar voice sounded, and Nanwei hurriedly patted Wang Zihao and Su Chang's shoulders, letting them open the door. Seeing Lin Qin, Nanwei didn't mention how good he was in his heart. You finally came. Lin Qin checked a few people in the first time, then stand on the edge of the top of the building and look down. Zhang Shui was still throwing a grenade, but still slipped in. This number of zombies and mutant wild dogs are not surprising for Lin Qin. Come with me. Lin Qin lost a gun to Nanwei. The two were holding a gun and ran downstairs. Along the way, it is unobstructed. Lin Qin is responsible for solving the more flexible mutant wild dogs, and Nanwei is responsible for solving those zombies. Zhang Shui, who was standing on the top of the building, was called back by Lin Qin with a walkie-talkie. The grenade was not lost, and the firepower was concentrated to help him cover. Everyone came to Lin Qin's door smoothly, hiding in a yard and paralyzing directly on the ground. No, I can't run. Wang Zihao gasped and stood in the yard and looked at several other friends. Nanwei looked at Lin Qin and listened to Lin Qin road. It's okay, the yard is also safe. As soon as this remark, everyone relieved. Safe. Several people sat directly on the ground. Outside the thick wall, you can also hear the roar of the zombies outside, the scratching sound of mutant wild dogs, and so on. From nervousness to relaxation, the three people were soft and soft. Nanwei pant, and stood on one side with a gun. Watching Lin Qin looked up and down to make sure he was not injured. Just now. Thank you really, are you okay? Is there any injury? Although she was not with Lin Qin, when she came upstairs, the degree of corpses accumulated on the variable wild dogs on the stairs, it was not difficult to see how much Lin Qin was an enemy, and the stairs that was paralyzed by the bombed. Everything explains how serious the situation is just now. The clothes on Lin Qin had dirty traces and were also arrested. Nan Wei was about to lie on Lin Qin's body nervous and open the scratch on the clothes to check it out. If it is not the grabbing of the mutant wild dogs, it is actually no harm. But in case Lin Qin's scratch is a mutant wild dog, it is broken. This problem is serious. However, Nan Wei didn't see anything on the scratch on the clothes. The heart was loosened. Fortunately, there is no broken skin. In addition, there are other scars. After all, how could it not be heard at all from the stairs? It is estimated to be bruised on the knee. Fortunately, it's okay. Lin Qin held Nan Wei's hand and moved her away from her clothes. You scratch this hand. Let Zhang Shui come and deal with the medicine box for yourself. Nan Wei nodded, seeing Lin Qin in front of the three-person legs of the legs. Do you check the whole body? Is anyone injured? Wang Yuan lowered his head and then shook his head. Su Chang also touched his whole body and shook his head. Several of them, because Nan Wei led the speed of withdrawal from upstairs. It was Ziheo, and it seemed to fall down, but there should be no big deal. Wang Ziheo carefully checked his whole body and then shook his head. Lin Qin didn't say much. Directly facing Zhang Xuedao on the top floor, Xiao Xue, let's come down first. The zombies outside and the mutant wild dogs are controlled first. By the way, take the medicine box too. After ordering, Lin Qin walked into the room. Nan Wei and others followed closely. Wang Yuan watched the villa for a week of anti-theft windows, and his heart was shocked. But even so, she didn't dare to speak randomly. Everything that has just experienced is more exciting than the days when they are wandering outside. Stunning was unscrupulous, and the brain could not respond to anything except shocked. The situation of the other two is the same. I just followed Lin Qin's instructions to enter the living room mechanically. Lin Qin glanced at the thick wall, and then closed the door of the villa. The door is also thicker. In the entire house, Lin Qin was transformed, and the sound insulation cotton was transformed. After closing the door, the roar of the zombies outside was basically invisible. Otherwise, these gathered mutant wild dogs and zombies will automatically dissipate, and the villas will be much safer. 3 people sat in the living room and were a little blindfolded. Lin Qin closed the iron window and opened the lights in the room a lot. Zhang Shui rushed downstairs with the medicine box. Looking at several people in the living room, he was even more nervous about Lin Qin. She went downstairs in a panic and put the medicine box on the coffee table. Then rushed to Lin Qin, grabbed Lin Qin's hand, looked at it, and touched it all over and down. Both eyes glanced at his whole body. Are you okay? Are you injured? Why are you scratching? Why is your arm still green here? Let me see if there are injuries elsewhere. Lin Qin took a deep breath. Okay, it's okay. Don't worry, you can't die. Zhang Shui was anxious to cry. Except for Zhang Jian, she now has only Lin Qin. This is my only relative. What's wrong? You see what you look like. Come and sit down. I'll give you medicine. Zhang Shui pulled Lin Qin on the sofa in the living room. Nan Wei stood on one side and wanted to intervene and couldn't get in at all. You can only hold things in the medicine box and hand it to your other 3 friends to deal with the abrasions that they are suffering from panic. Most of the wounds on Lin Qin's body were hit injuries and iodine disinfected. As for the clothes on the body, Yu reading book www.yukangshu.net. It is all broken, and it is dirty and naturally lost. The zombies outside are still continuing, and mutant wild dogs are constantly scratching. Lin Qin's surveillance detected the movement, and he kept shaking in his pants pocket. He took out his mobile phone and opened the monitoring and checked the situation outside. It was found that the zombies outside and the mutant wild dog gradually spread out of the villa area from the initial gathering. But this is also good. It can also be regarded as indirectly to drive him away from other survivors in this villa area. Everyone was shocked, and for almost 10 minutes, it was gradually returning to God. Wang Zihao looked at his friends, and his mood was not too high. Eventually, I looked at Lin Qin. "Excuse me, is there a room? I want to rest for a while." Lin Qin was a little puzzled, but didn't say much. Nan Wei said directly, "Go my room, on the second floor." Wang Zihao nodded with a sullen spirit, and then looked at the stairs. "Get up all the way upstairs." Lin Qin looked at his soul and looked at Nan Wei. Seeing Nan Wei, it is unclear thinking about it. Su Chang, sitting on the sofa, stood up at this time and watched Lin Qin and Nan Wei. "I want to rest too. Sorry, I will walk with Zihao first." Nan Wei froze. "Su Chang, what's wrong with you?" Zhang Shui put down the tool in his hand and said, "I will send them too. There's only one room on the third floor, but there's a food inside." The room on the second floor did not know the specifics. Zhang Shui followed the room that took them to Nan Wei. In this way, just go to the attic and close the door. Just in a hurry, the two doors leading to the attic and the two doors outside the roof were not related. There were many cartons full of materials. Suddenly newcomers at home, it is difficult to guarantee that they will not think of seeing so many materials. Let's keep your heart. Wang Yuran, who was empty on the sofa, finally returned to God at this time, then saw Lin Qin sitting not far away, hiding directly into his arms. Zombies and zombies. Lin Qin was scared by her sudden voting. Under Nan Wei's gaze, both hands raised them consciously. Nan Wei quickly stepped forward, caught Wang Yuran's hand that randomly patted, and said softly, "It's okay, it's okay. There is no zombie now. Look, we are all in the villa. I am Nan Wei." Wang Yuran froze for a moment, then looked at Nan Wei, and then he looked back in a few seconds and rushed into Nan Wei's arms. Nan Wei hugged Wang Yuran, kept patting her back, comforting. Lin Qin put down his hand and raised his eyebrows and sighed. Just now he thought that this king was come to himself. Wenxiang Nephrite. It was a pity that this feeling did not last long, and it was pulled back by Nan Wei. Nan Wei was distressed by Wang Yu. They grew up together from childhood, but their words were said to be the last one who had not suffered. Today it should be scared. Nan Wei held her and said to Lin Qin, "I will take her back to the room to rest first, and take them down to take a long way to discuss it." Lin Qin nodded. Soon, there was only Lin Qin in the living room. When there was no one, Lin Qin lowered his head and looked at the injuries on his belly clothes. This scar was caught by the mutant wild dog when he rolled down the stairs. But why is there no wound? Or is it not caught? Lin Qin didn't care about it for a moment. Maybe it was just when I rolled down and accidentally touched it. Never mind. Lin Qin got up, walked out of the refrigerator to take out a can of ice cola, and poured a large can of heat and dispelled a lot of enthusiasm. Outside, it's really hot. It has now reached the weather in June, and it will only become hotter in the future. Looking at this time, it takes a long time to heat up. Lin Qin turned on the air conditioner in the room and adjusted the comfortable temperature. Then lying on the sofa carefully. His ability is not great now. As for ordinary people, he is probably more replication. The replication ability has been copied almost in the early stage. During this time, there are more guns, muffler, grenades, and bullets. Other replication capabilities have not been practical. One is common supplies, and he has no common aircraft cannons. At this time, is it difficult to drive to the airport dozens of kilometers away to copy the plane? Even if he copies it, he will not fly a civil aviation aircraft. He couldn't get in touch with military helicopters. What's more, the tank cannon does not know where it is hidden. If you copy the ability, you can copy the liver. But the most important thing is that it is best to strengthen yourself. It is best to strengthen with one enemy in 10. Lin Qin is not the first time that he was kicked by zombies. Facing their strong, ordinary people really had to wait for death. If it weren't for himself, how could he be so lucky to live? He was not a god. How can I get stronger? It's difficult. Lin Qin was lying on the sofa and looked at the ceiling above his head, and his face was bitter. Even if there is insufficient ability, as long as there are enough weapons, The aircraft cannon armored vehicles are available. I'm afraid of any zombies. In places where aircraft cannon armored vehicles can be exposed or are currently only evacuated, go to the evacuation point to steal equipment. It doesn't seem to be no. Come back after stealing. It seems that it is okay. Lin Qin sat up sharply from a sofa. Think about this possibility carefully. The storage space is specifically prepared for the end of the world. At least it will not be chased by the zombies easily. The distance from here to the evacuation point is 30 minutes, but it is not far away. But if you want to walk, the fastest distance is 3 hours at the same time. However, it is definitely impossible to go smoothly. Various situations have been added before and after, and it is estimated that it has to double the time. If you're chased by the zombies again, escape to avoid it. It is not a problem for a day or two. Lin Qin was slightly calculated and lay back on the sofa, very discouraged. The feasibility of this idea is only 50%. Nympho. In the room, Su Chong looked at Wang Zihao, who was silent, and fell asleep on the bed of Nan Wei's bed and fell asleep. Can't help but reach out and push his shoulder. Don't pretend. Do you all have seen the zombies on the way to Nan Wei? You are afraid of it. In his opinion, what I have seen and heard during this time is almost the same. To see how much they have electricity, it is normal. But apparently this prince's reaction is a bit too much. Yu reading books www.yuyukangshu.net fake too much. He thought that Wang Zihao just found an excuse to calm down the shock in the room. After all, whether the villa is outside or inside, it is simply a dense fortress. The most important thing is electricity. Who is this kid? So powerful. How did Nan Wei know him? Unreliable. A series of doubts came into the bottom of Su Chang's heart and couldn't wait to find someone to talk about all their doubts. But the prince who was lying on the bed had no mood to listen to him at all. His hands covered his abdomen tightly, and he was trembling and dared not say much. Su Chang didn't get a response for a long time. When he looked back, he saw that Wang, speaking his mouth silent. Su Chang sat at the bed and said nothing. Nan Wei turned the door handle and helped Wang Yuran in. Seeing that Wang Zihao had been in bed, he seemed to be sleeping. Su Chang immediately helped Wang Yuran immediately. Nan Wei looked at them and closed the door gently. What happened? Su Chang didn't know, shook his head. It is estimated that it is scared. Nan Wei sighed and could only say, there are few rooms in this villa, so you squeeze in my room first. I will come to you when I eat at noon. Su Chang said, Nan Wei, what is the person downstairs? Is it safe here? He has electricity here, and the wall outside is still thickened, even the power grid above. It doesn't look like an ordinary person. You look at this villa, which is like a fortress. Could he still predict that the zombie eruption is prepared early in advance? The rough layout of the villas is similar. If this villa is renovated early, it will definitely be ordered by the property to change, and you have discovered it. Window. Even so, these windows are also installed with anti-theft and such thick iron ceiling windows. The more Su Changwei felt that Lin Qin was very wrong. Such exterior walls are changed, and the property can be allowed to allow it, or he has changed his time. And this person has a gun. This is already thoughtful. His own villas have electricity and power grids. Why do we take risks to find these two things back? Now, when the power is completely disconnected, Lin Qin has electricity here, and there must be a generator. Obviously, do they want them to go out? What kind of heart is this? Not only did there be guns, but even the grenades were thrown into the corpse group. Asked, the normal, ordinary people not only got the gun, but also a lot of grenades. Are you sure it is not a dangerous terrorist hiding here? Nan Wei's eyebrows were condensed and didn't want to guess what the purpose of Lin Qin had a fortress like Villa today. You know, Lin Qin rescued her without saying, but also saved her friends. Take a deep breath, Nan Wei tried to explain. Su Chang, I know that you are worried about these are normal suspicion, but the problem now is that he saved us. Even the food you eat yesterday was given by him. You tell me now, do you suspect that he is in his heart? Is there a problem with the villa modification? What does these have to do with you? What value does he have? Do you have a weapon? Do you have food? I think your prejudice can be collected first, because at present, he helped us, but we are questioning whether his purpose is simple. Su Chang wanted to explain it. Nan Wei didn't want to listen and directly reached out to stop Su Chang's rhythm that he wanted to continue. He asked you to find the power grid and the generator. It was intended to let us install it by ourselves to prevent outsiders from entering our villa. Do you think he wants to do it for himself? There are 3 rooms in this villa, and so many people cannot accommodate so many people. I originally wanted to install these 2 things in our villa to achieve the role of defense. No need to say so much. Okay, don't say this now. Let's take a good rest first. Speaking, Nan Wei blunted the door of the room. As for Lin Qin's original intention, Nan Wei naturally didn't know what it was for. But saying this, Su Chang could dispel his concerns. Normally, Su Chang is more vigilant. Nan Wei didn't blame him. Su Chang ate a closed door and said that he couldn't get up in his throat again. After Wang Yuran, who stood aside and saw Nan Wei left, he stood up and walked in front of him. I also think you are thinking too much, so you can see that you can save us today, not a bad person. Let's take a break. Wang Yuran looked at Wang Zihao lying on the bed, shook his head helplessly, and gave out the bed. I hit the floor. There are new quilts and bamboo mats in the wardrobe, and she is lying on the ground and rest for a while. As for the Wang Zihao on the bed, he did not know if he was really scared. Su Chang watched both of them towards Lin Qin and could not help but have self-doubt. Is he really thinking too much? Lin Qin was lying downstairs, and the air conditioner in the room was very sufficient at this time. The time has arrived at 11 o'clock at this time, and it is time for lunch. Nan Wei and Zhang Shui were washing vegetables in the kitchen and cooking. There are a lot of 6 people's meals. Tomatoes, fried eggs, fried vegetables, potatoes, braised eggplant. Some vegetables in the refrigerator are basically eaten today. Su Chang was a little uncomfortable because he questioned Lin Qin in his heart. So the atmosphere on the entire dining table is relatively unpopular. Seeing this, Nan Wei directly took out the beer in the refrigerator. 1 person and 1 bottle. The atmosphere is much better than just. Su Chang drove a bottle of beer and walked directly to Lin Qin. He has good opinions on him, but Nan Wei is also telling the facts. Holding the beer bottle, Su Chang said frankly, "Thanks for you, we thank you a few." A bottle of beer handed over by Lin Qin. Move his lips, no. Su Chang looked at Lin Qin, so straightforward, and the ashamed in his heart was a little bit more. I did this bottle of beer, so I should be criminal, you casually. Speaking, Su Chang blew directly at the bottle. Lin Qin was not a careful person, and he didn't understand Su Chang's inexplicable sin. But they drank it, and Lin Qin naturally would not refute the face of each other. He picked up the beer, and Yu read the book www.yicang.net. There are still many zombies outside. I don't drink too much. After speaking, Lin Qin poured a cup directly and drank all the cups. When Su Chang saw this, he smiled back. Lunch is hot dishes, although they usually eat it before the zombies broke out. But so long as not full, it is already a mountain and sea flavor. Several people ate meals, and everyone dared not make too much noise for fear of disturbing the zombies outside. Wang Yuran clamped a chopstick potato in Lin Qin's bowl and was attentive. It was Wang Zihao, very unusually stealthy, silent. After eating, he entered the bathroom and locked the door. The lights in the bathroom turned on, and a few people looked at him at a glance that he had diarrhea and then looked back. Wang Zihao stood in the bathroom and looked at himself in the mirror. He rolled his clothes and looked at the pus wound on his abdomen. The wound is already a bit dark, and the situation is not good. He looked at the bucket in the bathroom, then blocked the sewer of the pool, hurriedly poured the water in the pool, and began to clean his wound. Closer, you can smell the less obvious smell. Exactly the same as the zombie. Wiping the disgusting mucus on it, he took out the dagger that had been hidden on his body and tightened his teeth and dug off the rotten meat. The rotten meat is actually not painful. What is more painful is where the carrion is connected to the good meat. There was a fine sweaty bead on his forehead. Wang Zihao still removed this piece of meat cruelly and then rushed down the toilet. Although the location of the wound is not large, it should be a lot of pain. Blood water dripping along. He panting and he sprinkled the anti-inflammatory medicine powder from the medicine box desperately on the wound, dimed in blood-soaking, quickly entangled gauze. He wrapped a lot of circles to make sure he would not drip. After doing this, he washed his hands with his hands and digging meat in the pool, washed the blood water, then pretended to be as good as anyone, went upstairs. Never let them discover. Su Chong saw Wang Ziheo's back and shouted enthusiastically, "Ziheo, where are you going? You haven't finished eating." However, Wang Ziheo just hurried upstairs and locked himself inside. Lin Qin couldn't help but lean on his back behind him and looked at the direction of the bathroom. Su Chong was unknown, so he watched Nan Wei, who couldn't understand the situation of Wang Ziheo. Lin Qin just thought about it, and then said seriously, "Xiao Xue, go to the bathroom to see." As soon as this was out, the people present were stunned. What does it mean? Zhang Xue did not doubt him, and immediately stood up and walked to the bathroom. The bathroom has traces of dragging by mop and water stains in the pool. It is normal to wash a hand in the toilet. However, why does the bathroom have a smell? Could it be that the sewer is reversed? Zhang Xue looked at the left and right inadvertently and even saw the water ideas in the pool. They were throwing pan powder. Pink. She lowered her head and looked carefully, then followed the water pipeline of the pool all the way down, seeing that there were some traces on the mop. After lift the mop, Zhang Xue saw the traces of blood in the broken cloth strip. Wang Ziheo was injured. Seeing this, she quickly walked to Lin Qin, looked at Nan Wei and others, and finally got close to Lin Qin's ear. Blood in the bathroom. The sound is very small, but the table is so big and very quiet. Such a little voice naturally heard. Nan Wei froze and couldn't help thinking about it. How can he not be injured? When will he be injured? Lin Qin got up and went upstairs directly. Nan Wei and others did not eat anymore and immediately followed. The door of the bedroom was locked from the inside and could not be opened at all. Nan Wei patted the door and shouted, "Ziheo, Ziheo, you open the door." The prince in the room was startled. Is it possible that they found out that they were injured? Lin Qin reached out and dragged Nan Wei over, and then knocked on the door. "Wang Ziheo, you haven't finished eating. You just want to ask you if you want to leave you for me. There will be 6 or 7 hours in the evening." I heard that it was just asking the question of staying meals. The prince in the room was relieved. "It's okay, don't leave me meals." There was a voice in it, and Lin Qin nodded clearly, then looked at Su Chong and raised an eyebrow. Sometimes the men are so tacit, and Su Chong starts directly to the door. His person was already high and strong, and his strength was not small, and he opened the door a few times. The prince in the room was startled, seeing everyone's unknown, so I was very panicked and dragged the clothes on their bodies. This is... Zhang Xue opened the crowd, walked straight, and glanced up and down all over his body. Then he was going to drag his clothes. Wang Ziheo was startled, and the subconscious response was to hold his clothes. But Zhang Xue has always been like this, and he wants to open it tough. After the two, Zhang Xue was pushed directly by the Prince Hao, and Lin Qin took a step forward and took it successfully. Tear. Zhang Xue torn Wang Ziheo's clothes. On the thick gauze wrapped in the abdomen, a lot of blood was immersed. Both Nan Wei and Su Chong Wang were shocked. When Lin Qin saw this, he stabilized Zhang Xue and said, "Your friends are injured. How to deal with your own decisions. Xiao Xue, follow me to throw garbage." Lin Qin went downstairs with Zhang Xue. The food on the table had not finished eating, but it was almost the same. Zhang Xuezhen was stupid to pack the chopsticks and was stopped by Lin Qin. "What are you doing? Pack. Don't you say you want to fall off? You're so dumb." Zhang Xue. "But that's their own friends. Can we let them deal with it ourselves?" "Why not? Can't you want to die with him?" This is just the first step. There are many cruel things in the future. If they do not even deal with this matter, we don't need to be so unclear teammates. Although this is the case, the question is that they are so good, how can they abandon their friends like this? But, okay, take this to clean the bathroom. Lin Qin took a bottle of 84 disinfectant and stuffed it in Zhang Xue's arms. After leaning his mouth, Zhang Xue could only take the disinfectant to clean the bathroom. Lin Qin did about half an hour on the sofa on the first floor. The people upstairs have not handled it well. When Lin Qin was a little impatient, a few screams suddenly came upstairs. Then there was a chaotic noise, and finally it was calm. When Nanwei came down, his face was still frightened. Looking at Lin Qin aside, she just stunned and said nothing. Lin Qin didn't ask much. Time was fast, and the sky outside the house gradually darkened. And zombie mutant wild dogs, Yu reading books www.yukangshu.net still wander around the villa. The room was still cleaned by the disinfectant, and no one spoke on this night. Early morning. Yesterday's low emotions had disappeared. Instead, everyone is highly interesting. Nanwei, early. Su Chong, early. Wang Yuran, early. Zhang Shui, intersection. Lin Qin. At the end, Zhang Shui walked at the end, watching the three people's face full of happiness, standing beside Lin Qin, and couldn't help feeling emotion. This person, it's really fast forgotten. Lin Qin laughed and walked first. What can I do if I don't forget? Always continue to continue. Don't get ink, go down soon. You have to go out and continue to clear the zombies after eating. I have to clear it. Zhang Shui bitterly faced. Her arm was shot yesterday to this day. Back to continue. Oh my God, but also let people live. Downstairs, Nanwei and others washed. Seeing Lin Qin down, Nanwei said, "What do you want to eat today? I think there are a few buns in the refrigerator. After eating this meal, I may go upstairs to get something else." Well, finish eating in the refrigerator first and take the rice noodle down. It's not enough. Just come to me and add it. Nanwei nodded, walked towards the refrigerator, and took out the steam buns in the frozen area. Burn hot water, just steam the buns. Shui Nanwei, who was steamed buns, was not wasted. He grabbed a small rice and put it in hot water to cook a pot of rice soup. When the buns are steamed, the rice soup in the pot is almost the same, just cook for a while. Lin Qin brushed his teeth and washed his face, and the buns on the table were all brought up. Mitang was also brought up, one bowl of one person, just right. Hurry up. Buns are vegetable buns, and the taste is still pretty good. However, there are only two people. With Mitang, for Lin Qin and Su Chong, they still can't eat. Lin Qin looked at this scene and didn't say much. Nanwei felt that the supplies were so nervous now. Even if Lin Qin had a room full of materials, there was always a time to eat. It's better to save money. Breakfast ate quickly. Lin Qin sat in front of the dining table and looked at all humanity. We won't mention yesterday's things. Everything starts today. All of us will go out to kill the zombies later and re-empty the villa. Su Chong and Wang Yuran have not experienced the experience of exercise or shooting. So you too, I will give you bow and arrow, follow Nanwei. Xiao Xue, wait for me to stay here with me. Make up the gap in the wall to prevent the zombies outside from coming in again. The words fell, and no one refuted. This was a bit surprised by Lin Qin. The other two people even gladly accepted Lin Qin's unbalanced arrangements. I ate breakfast quickly. Lin Qin gave them bow and arrow, as well as intercom, so as not to cause any accidents. Nanwei took them away. Lin Qin and Zhang Shui are still in the villa area. After one night, the zombies were not around Lin Qin's villa, and they didn't know where to run. Nanwei has enough time to take two people with a skilled bow and arrow. When everyone was gone, Zhang Shui looked at Lin Qin and said, "We have no bricks that fill the cave. How to fill it out?" The walls around the villa are not small. Lin Qin just smiled. It is not a big deal for Lin Qin to fill the wall. But you must not use this original fence, which cannot play any effect on zombies. Zhang Shui sighed and returned to the room to prepare. There are also a lot of zombies outside, and she is better prepared. Even if it seems that the repair wall is a very simple matter, the raw materials are not simple. Lin Qin walked to the yard at this time, looked at his wall, and walked over. If the liver cannot be copied, if the dead object, should the wall should be okay? All the neighborhoods nearby must not have their own walls. Lin Qin walked to the wall of the yard, then reached out and touched it, and began to try to copy. In the space of storage, a wall appeared in an instant. Lin Qin opened his eyes sharply and was a little happy. Endless. But the wall was too heavy, he couldn't move. Lin Qin looked at his door again. The door can be replicated. This iron steel bars are thick. Soon, Lin Qin got a copy of the door. Lin Qin took out the excavated iron, tin, iron hoe, and other objects from the storage space, and stood at the door and waited for Zhang Shui in the room. After waiting for a long time, she didn't see her movement. Okay, come out quickly. Zhang Shui hurriedly ran out, watching Lin Qin, who was holding a tool outside. How dare you dare to go out in the incomplete? And where can we find this filled disassembly? Okay, I have a way. Lin Qin laughed and threw his hoe to Zhang Shui. Let's go. Dig a tunnel on the side of the wall first. Authentic. Lin Qin nodded. Well, do you sell a house? Do you know that you have to dig first before building a house? You dig deeper, it's almost one of you. This is too deep just a hoe to dig. Hurry up, they all go to kill the zombies, and you want to go too. Lin Qin sighed. Zhang Shui immediately shook his head. No, I think it's good to dig the tunnel. The door of the yard opened, and the two came directly to the wall. The corpses of the zombies and mutant wild dogs that were killed yesterday were piled up. Before dug tunnels, they had to deal with these bodies. Zhang Shui was disgusted with a face, and she didn't dare to reach out to touch these things. Seeing this, Lin Qin passed through the bombarded wall and walked out. There were a lot of greening in the villa 1 week. Lin Qin first eradicated all of these greening so as not to wait for a while. After shovel, Lin Qin directly mentioned a barrel of gasoline and poured on the corpse accumulated by the wall. A fire burned. Zhang Shui stood aside and looked at Lin Qin and stunned. What are you doing? These things can't touch it anyway. Burn it cleanly. When it is finished, these things will be burnt, and it will be a lot cleaner at that time. You start digging the pit again. Zhang Shui nodded, watched Lin Qin find a place to sit down at will, and sat down. Two people are very comfortable. The fire burned very strong, crackling, the burnt smell mixed with gasoline flavor, which seemed to have a bit of fleshy flavor. Zhang Shui stared at the corpses swallowed by the fire. Yu read the book www.ukinsha.net, and the surface was blackened within a while. Mars crackling. While the body continued to burn, Lin Qin went to the east gate. The hemp rope on the east gate is only weathering and broken, and as long as someone carries a dagger, I really want to come in and cut it. Lin Qin intends to pull an interior wall where these walls are 4 meters. This will be more safer. This project is huge, and it is definitely unlikely to surround the whole villa. You can choose 2 or 3 houses nearby. This will not waste too much time. Lin Qin nodded and started planning. On the other side at this time, Nanwei and others wandered in the villa. Wang Yuan held the bow, an arrow in his hand, and the posture of pulling the bow up and down. This stuff is even more at ease without guns. Looking at the gun in Nanwei, she stepped forward and began to complain. Nanwei, we have 3 people, and there are only 1 gun. I and Su Chong will not pull the archery. This stuff will not be used for us. He doesn't have a gun, and he is so dangerous to kill the zombies. Why not give it more? Now you have a gun, and the 2 of us can only rely on you. Nanwei looked at the 4 weeks vigilantly, and couldn't help answering Wang Yuan's complaints. Okay, Miss Wang Yuan, now is not the same as before. Your old lady's temper, Jiaodi's set of one set, is useless. I won't be able to learn. No one knows that it will suddenly become the current situation. No one will never meet again. Moreover, Su Chong did not say he wouldn't. Haven't you played it when you had archery before? It was no different from the previous one. Su Chong, who was standing aside, couldn't help laughing. You don't know if you don't know. The problem. Wang Yuan's mouth rolled his eyes. Extremely speechless. What happened to my temper? I speak like this, my mouth is faster than my head. Haven't you seen me not to speak these days? I am afraid of offending people. Su Chong snorted. You are afraid of offending people? I think you're about to post people. Don't be too obvious to offer your diligence. Wang Yuan's rising and halved. It didn't matter. What can I do? Don't be attentive in case of catching us away. Besides, anyway, I'm also a big star, looks like a flower. Maybe people won't catch us. Moreover, Lin Qin is not ugly. Wang Yuan didn't say this, just glanced at Nanwei next to him. Su Chong looked at the 4 weeks, and the bow and arrow in his hand also maintained an atmosphere of posture at any time. Okay, Don't complain. These zombies and mutant wild dogs don't know where to hide. Be careful. Pay more attention to 4 weeks. The 3 people also stopped fighting. Wang Yuan looked at the 4 weeks solemnly and did not relax. The team seemed to be going on, and the black smoke in the distance rose, attracting Su Chang's eyes. When he turned around, he found that even individuals also noticed. Look not far. Ask if you know. Nanwei took out the intercom. I saw the black smoke. What are you? I found the black smoke. After a while, Lin Qin's voice came over. It's okay. You continue. Remember to tell me the situation. The call is in a hurry. Nanwei and others also ushered in the first wave of crisis at this time. The reason for the gasoline on Lin Qin, after burning the fire, gradually faded. The zombies below are scorched, and there is no burning carbonization. Lin Qin found that he wanted to carbonize, and it took a while to continue burning. It's okay to think about it. Take out the iron directly, and after the fire is extinguished, all of them shovel on the road outside. This process took a lot of time. After Lin Qin was cleaned up, Zhang Shui started digging with a hoe. There are various roots of plants in the soil. When you go down, you see a ant mention it too much, and the efficiency is too slow. Even so, Zhang Shui did not have any complaints. From the morning to noon from the morning, everyone was still busy. Lin Qin joined the team of Zhang Shui's dug pit. The 2 of them took a long time and were not enough. Lin Qin's copy of the wall is very thick, and its thickness is at least 1 meter. The thickness of the door also has 50 centimeters. So if you want to block this gap, there's a very stable way to fence. At least the depth of this foundation is sufficient. Otherwise, if it is raining, the soil is wet, and the weight of this weight will not fall directly. But now the length and width have reached, that is, insufficient depth. 2 people stood in before Zhang Shui's waist. This depth is about 1 meter. At least, dig a 130 centimeters or 150. If this is in the past, it must be dug into the dry soil layer, but now the length is not enough to retreat and be second. The 2 continued to wave their hoe, and the things they ate in the morning were consumed long ago, and they gurgled hungry. But the depth of the foundation is about to reach, and then persist. On the distant streets, several zombies wandered. The 2 people who struggled to dig a pit had no effort at all. When the zombies stood by the pit, the 2 talents reacted. Lin Qin waved a hoe in his hand hard, and a cracker cracked, and directly got in. Looking at the body of the zombie, Lin Qin couldn't help scolding. Zhang Shui lifted his hoe to look at the corpse at the bottom of the pit. What should I do? This corpse is not easy to lift up. This pit is not low. Don't lift it, go. Let's go up. Good. The 2 climbed out of the pit, and they were panting beside the dug out of the soil piles. Lin Qin reached out and wiped the sweat on his forehead. Xiao Xue, go back and make lunch and make it to me here. By the way, just be 2 of us. It is estimated that it will be back at night. Zhang Shui did not doubt him, and wiped the sweat on his forehead and returned to the villa. Lin Qin stepped on the small mounds dug out of the 2 of them and looked at the bottom of the pit. This depth should be okay. Even if it is windy and rainy, it should not fall. As for the corpse, such a heavy wall should be pressed down. Lin Qin adjusted the position and adjusted the large iron skin in the storage space, and then took it out and fell into the dug deep pit. You can't take it directly at this stuff. Fortunately, you can adjust the position at will. After getting it, Lin Qin began to fiddle with the soil dumping around the surrounding area on the edge of the wall and stepped on it a little. After buried, Yu reads www.uukaongshu.net. Lin Qin nodded with satisfaction. Sinan's fence is much higher than the original fence wall, and it is a real iron. It is no matter how powerful he is to dry him or a mutant wild dog, he can't push it. But blocking is gambling, but this wall is not perfect. After all, there is no support, and it is not possible to collapse. After thinking about it, Lin Qin took the iron rope to the iron fence at both ends. Then stop. After this, Lin Qin took these things in his hand and then placed in the yard. After Zhang Shui took a shower before and after, Lin Qin had returned. After a long time, no one wanted to cook. Lin Qin, the sauerkraut fish is a large bowl, and the shops in the shopping mall are made, and the taste is very good. During this time, this kind of thing has been hidden, and Lin Qin simply does not matter as everyone eats. But now, there is no others, and Lin Qin does not want to treat his stomach. To be honest, such behavior is a bit stingy. However, Lin Qin is not a stingy person. When Nanwei was cleaned up, at night, he would prepare a rich hot pot. There are all kinds of ingredients. Of course, the premise is to stay in peace. Wow, when do you have fish at home? There's sauerkraut. Zhang Shui looked at the food prepared on the table in surprise. Sometimes she really thinks that Lin Qin will become magic. The food is very tricky. Mainly things that I don't want to eat now. Lin Qin didn't say much, but pushed the rice over there. Pick up the chopsticks, and the two people eat it. After meals, continue to dig a pit. Zhang Shui took advantage of the gap in the meal till Lin Qin said, "This wall, where can we find something to come back to make up?" It's not easy to find now. And even if it is found, things are not light. In the past, there were companies that were carried by carts and specially handled, and they could be assembled on the spot. If this was move on the scene, would the two of them move? Lin Qin raised his eyebrows and ate slowly. "Don't worry, go down and exercise. I will deal with the wall." Zhang Shui looked up. Although she didn't want to run to exercise, she felt that she was okay compared to a headache. I was happy to accept Lin Qin's arrangement. It was just that she didn't know that Lin Qin was all ready. In the afternoon, Lin Qin had nothing to do with it, leaving Nanwei's side. At this time, Nanwei and others were killing the villas in the villa. Their current positions are two extremes with Lin Qin. The number of zombies and mutant wild dogs is not small. I don't know if it is because of some living here. Most zombies and mutant wild dogs wander around here. Fortunately, they are all ordinary variants. It will be a bit difficult to deal with. The zombies solved along the way are not large, but the zombies are near here, one wave of waves. Wang Yuran and Su Chang were even more cramps in their hands. Nanwei looked at the villa courtyard next to the villa, and then took them to solve several zombies blocked in front of them and entered the yard. In a long, uninhabited yard, many leaves have been accumulated. There are many flowers and plants in the courtyard of this villa. Although the weather was hot during this time, there were also rainfall a few days ago and did not completely die. The open-air solid wood coffee table is covered with a thick layer of gray. Nanwei looked at it for 4 weeks and confirmed that there were no other persons or the traces of the zombie activities, and compared the gestures for the other two. The three people looked at each other and then walked to the door of the villa. The door was locked, and Nanwei couldn't open it a few times. Since it can't be opened, the probability of someone or zombies in it should not be high. After all, the courtyard's table is full of dust. Nanwei directly gave up the idea of opening the door, looking for the coffee table in the corner. There are 2 small benches on the coffee table, dirty on it, and the 3 people didn't mind sitting on the buttocks. Outside, the roar of the zombies continued, and the gaps in the door of the yard can see the zombies not far away walking around. There were rotten odors everywhere in the air, but it covered the taste of them well. But at this time, the 3 people were already hungry. Nanwei took out toast bread and distributed. This thing is better to carry, and it is soft. In addition to the appearance of a slight sound, it will be fine. Remove the mask, and the 3 people ate quickly. Right now, I just want to take a good rest for a while and fill up my stomach. Wang Yuran ate 3 pieces and couldn't help but look up at Su Chang and Nanwei next to him. The sight fell to the gun that moved to Nanwei's back and then dangled and continued to eat toast. After a long time, she said, "Sister Nanwei, how many bullets you have?" Nanwei ate the toast film in his hands, and he didn't raise his head. "Okay, what's wrong?" Before departure, Lin Qin gave her a school bag, a lot of bullets in the school bag, and 2 grenades. The most important thing is that the food is quite sufficient. There are almost 6 packs of toast, 5 packs of instant noodles, and 3 bottles of water. And Su Chang and Wang Yuran's bow and arrows also have a lot of arrows. They did not store the arrow bag. Lin Qin directly mentioned 2 school bags, which contain a lot of inside. It is enough for them to use it. Nanwei didn't feel any problems about this. Wang Yuran continued, We have 3 guns, so go directly to go. She and Su Chongbao and arrows, and Jinlin Lin Qin gave much. It should be enough if you take the method to the evacuation point. Add the gun in Nanwei. Can't you get the evacuation point? As soon as this came out, the 3 of them were silent. Su Chong looked at Wang Yin Ran. Usually you are quiet, but you don't expect it to be quite big. Wang Yuan raised his eyebrows and hooked his lips. Zaheo is gone. I don't want to lose you too. Since we have weapons in our hands, it's not better to go to a better place to leave here, she said seriously. Su Chong laughed at once. I still remember that when I questioned yesterday, you didn't say that. Why did you change your mind now? Wang Yuan, we have weapons in different pasts. We have weapons. Nan Wei sighed in the words of the 2 people. Speaking, I hope not to say this in the future. Also, decide to stay and do things well. Otherwise, I won't keep you. Nan Wei smiled softly, but his eyes looked at the outside of the courtyard wall, monitoring between the gaps of the branches. Whether Lin Qin has monitoring her is not clear, but it is definitely not that simple. Give so many things this time. Yu reading www.okanshu.net asked them to come out to clean up the zombies. Maybe it was a test. This opportunity is critical. Wang Yuan was a little stiff, and his eyes looked at Su Chong a little hesitant. Nan Wei's words sounded like a reminder, but more like a warning. What is Lin Qin? But after Nan Wei said, she also said nothing, eating the toast in her hand. But there was no wishes, and there were several strange zombies on the trail outside. Nan Wei instantly put the toast in his mouth and picked up the gun behind him. The eyes of the other 2 followed the past, and when they saw the road outside, there were 2 heads and 4 arms on the 2 mutant zombies. What a weird zombie. Su Chong and Wang Yuan naturally saw it. The injured bread is not fragrant. The 2 people moved their seats gently, trying to hide behind the coffee table and hide their shape. This will not be discovered by the strange zombie outside. Nan Wei was carefully leaning by the wall, which was almost the same as the weird zombies outside, but dare not make a sound. What is this and why is this? At this time, Lin Qin and Zhang Shui had finished their meals. In Lin Qin's words, Zhang Shui went upstairs and started practicing archery. At this moment, I have just ate a full meal, and my physical exercise must be a little bit. Then you can only exercise your arms. But yesterday, his arms and shoulders were sore due to the problem of recoil. Continue to exercise now. That sour is fine. However, the bow and arrow are not the same as the gun, not such a large recoil. But for a long time to pull the bow and arrow aim, there's some exercise of arm strength. However, Zhang Shui only planned to take your time, not in a hurry. Because of the shoulders, it is too sore. The iron skin around the villa is still sealed by the window. For a while, Zhang Shui will not find the situation downstairs. Lin Qin sat in the living room like this and looked at the monitor with his mobile phone. Many monitoring can be switched one by one on the phone. Lin Qin wants to find Nanwei's position. It is not easy to find at all. The system is related to the prompt given by mobile detection, which also includes zombies. Even a flying bird, as long as it is captured by monitoring, will give the same prompt. Therefore, it is even unrealistic to find one by one in Lin Qin's various tips. Some monitoring can be prompted. When did you find it? Lin Qin thought for a while and looked up at Zhang Shui on the 2nd floor. The sound of the training arrow inserted into the weaving basket came from the above. Lin Qin got up directly, walked to the bottom of the stairs, opened the hidden door, and then entered the basement. The basement is black and painted. Without turning on the lights, there are only those who exude weak lights where computer monitoring. Turn on the lamp. Lin Qin walked down the stairs. There are many computers in the middle of the living room, gathering together to form a huge display. Each small display corresponds to monitoring in different places. Lin Qin quickly looked around on each display and finally found them in the courtyard of a villa. However, the position is relatively tricky and the corner of monitoring only reveals them. Lin Qin controlled the monitoring and was aimed at them. Through the gap between the branches and leaves, it is not very comprehensive. Outside the yard, there were several corpses of zombies. The food they ate in the yard rest. Lin Qin was lying on the chair behind him, his hand stretched, and an ice cream bucket appeared in his hand. In the cold belly, Lin Qin intends to continue to observe their actions. At this moment, Nan Wei's movement was carefully vigilant, holding a gun and leaning forward by the wall. Lin Qin's surveillance is to all the best to the side of him. This time, Nan Wei cannot be seen directly. But in this way, Lin Qin was also curious about what happened to make them alert. The position of the monitoring was adjusted again. I saw that on the trail, a zombie after a mutant reinforcement was wandering in the direction where Nan Wei was. It is a strengthening zombie because the loss is different. What monster is this? Lin Qin had a leisurely movement and directly adjusted the monitoring screen in the computer display screen. Eliminate alone. There's not much difference between the zombies, but it looks like this. Lin Qin first thought that the zombies in a certain anime merged with each other. There are 2 heads above the head and 4 hands behind them. Although it was rotten, the forearms looked quite flexible. I saw that he grabbed the zombie corpse on the ground and ate it directly. All 4 arms were hugged, the mouth thief was good, and it was crispy. Is the teeth so sharp? But think about the twice mutant zombies yesterday. It is not so difficult to understand. Zombies are constantly evolving, and the future situation may be more complicated. But this one in front of you does not know if they can deal with it. As soon as Lin Qin's thoughts rose, in the monitoring picture, a mutant zombie appeared again. A total of 2 mutant zombies. Good guy. Lin Qin was a little anxious. According to the level of mutation zombies now, although it is not fast, there will be more and more that will appear later. If they want to survive, they must improve their strength and weapons as soon as possible. In terms of strength, Lin Qin couldn't help looking down at himself. Well, at least better than at the beginning. But compared with the evolution of zombies, his speed of progress seems very small. If you can teach 1 or 2 by special police or soldiers, you should improve it. But now there is no such condition. Nan Wei held his breath and did not dare to make too much sound. Back against the wall of the yard, she stared at the zombies outside. The next second, she raised the gun and aimed at the unknown zombies outside. But how can mutant zombies be so easy to deal with? The moment Nan Wei fired, it heard the movement, just avoided it. Nan Wei was stunned and wanted to continue to shoot the 2 mutant zombies. However, zombies cannot give her a chance at all. The width of the gate was limited. Nan Wei's shooting continued, but the body of the 2 mutant zombies could not be held too flexible. Run directly to the 2 sides of the door, Nan Wei's vision blind spot. If she wants to see the position of the 2 zombies at this time, she must open the yard's iron door to go out. Nan Wei could not open the door at all. When the 2 people hiding behind the coffee table saw that the situation was not good, they immediately got up and forcibly pulled back to the mutant zombie Nan Wei. Nan Wei, go quickly. This zombie is too different from those zombies we usually see. You can see what monsters are the 4 arms and 2 heads and 2 heads and 2 heads. Your guns can't hit them. This is the most important. Nan Wei was pretended to be calm and said, my marksmanship is not accurate. If it is Lin Qin, it should be different. When are this all? What else did you say, Lin Qin? Can he fly over to save the people? Su Chong, hurry up, hit the door open. Behind them, there's only one villa. There's no place to hide at all places. Su Chong vigorously held the door and hit it hard. But the door couldn't fight at all for a while, and Su Chong's sweat was urgent. The mutant zombie appeared again in front of the courtyard at this time. The 4 of them grabbed the iron door. The squeak sound of the iron gate could not help but squeak. This made other nearby zombies and mutant wild dogs aware of it. Their strength was very strong, and the 8 hands on the door were shaking at the same time, and the big iron door was shook directly. Nan Wei couldn't, and could only follow Wang Yuran Su Chong. Fortunately, at the end, the door opened. 3 people quickly entered the living room of the villa, walked through all the way, and came to the backyard. There was a small door in the backyard. The last time she and Lin Qin left here from the trail behind the backyard. The latter roads are relatively small and hidden, and they are planted everywhere. Although you can cover your own whereabouts well, there will be any more powerful roles hidden in the inconsistent. The zombies are not relying on the eyes to distinguish. Their hearing and smell system is very developed. In the middle of the trail, the bluestone surface was covered. If this is in the past, it is simply a walk after meals to eliminate diet and dating the holy place. They don't ask anything else now. Let's leave here first. However, the mutant zombies were pursued, and they squeezed out desperately from the narrow door of the backyard. Fortunately, the door of the backyard is not large, and the zombies will not come first. All stuck on it. For a while, the zombies poured into this trail much slower. But the two mutant zombies were particularly obvious in the corpse group. They also rushed over first. Nanwei and others couldn't get out at all. She aimed at the gun in her hand and shot directly. But the zombie's arm will protect his head and hit the body without any effect. Su Chong couldn't, and could only take out the bow and arrows given by Lin Qin to aim at the mutant zombies constantly moving. Damn, this is really going to die in this ghost place. Well, this dog is too smart than those who are more smart. What should I do? I can't stop it at all. The two of them were just bow and arrows, and they could easily solve those ordinary zombies. But for the zombies after this obvious strengthening of mutation, it is simply a chicken rib, and it cannot be used at all. But the surroundings are not just two mutant zombies, but also many ordinary zombies. These are basically Wang Yuan and Su Chang's responsibility. Nanwei only needs to deal with those two powerful ones. Nanwei just shot with a gun and kept aiming at shooting. Follow the movement of the zombies, left for a while. The heart is pounding, and the nervousness has no time to ignore my friends. Now, only she has a gun. The life and death of the entire team were pressed on her. Nanwei did not dare to relax. The bullet was gone, so he immediately changed the magazine. When the zombies disappeared, they wiped out and looked around and protected their friends behind them, seeing that they would only die in this way. Nanwei was a huge pressure and simply shot one of them. Bullets stunned the arm in front of the head and penetrated the zombie's head. Even so, Nanwei was afraid that he would not die and continued to aim. The arms were shocked, and she had no consciousness, just panting, just thinking about killing him. Su Chong and others resolved other zombies around the surroundings, and when they turned around, they saw Nanwei solve one of them. But the other no firepower was suppressed, and it turned to Nanwei's side and fluttered. Su Chong shouted, "Nanwei, be careful of the left." The shouting made the hearts of the three people instantly mention their hearts. Nanwei was overwhelming, and another mutant zombie had already rushed over. Unavoidable. When his paw came down, Nanwei felt that he would break the appearance on the spot, and his mind was separated. However, a few less obvious gunfires sounded, and the mutant zombies in front of Nanwei were unexpectedly exploded. With a sound, he fell directly in front of Nanwei, just one step away. Nanwei seemed to have lost his soul and forgot his reaction. Su Chong and Wang Yuan's archery movement kept moving, but behind the corpse of the mutant zombies, there were still many other zombies. Nanwei disappeared. They should first defend those zombies to avoid rushing up. There are the last two arrows in the backpack, but there are still many chasing behind. They must leave this place as soon as possible. Nanwei stunned for a moment, and then looked back at them. Lin Qin stood in place, and the gun in his hand was still aiming at several zombies closest to them. Seeing this, Su Chong couldn't help but feel relieved. Two people trot forward, holding Nanwei's arm, and gathered in the direction of Lin Qin. "Go back first. Xiao Xue will take you to you at home." Lin Qin glanced at them, and then continued to aim at the zombies behind them. "How about you?" Wang Yuan nodded and pulled Nanwei to withdraw. And Su Chong, looking at Lin Qin's way, "What about you? Can you deal with these zombies alone? Don't be stubborn if you can't deal with it. We are now a team. I can be with you." However, before Su Chang's words were finished, Lin Qin interrupted. "Mushing, hurry up, don't stay and drag me," Su Chong said in a moment. Indeed, they are too weaker than Lin Qin. Looking at Lin Qin's hard deal with the zombies, Su Chong finally left and followed Nanwei. The zombies fell. From the beginning, Lin Qin just wanted to see if they left in the monitoring or continued here. I did not expect to see a mutant zombie. The situation of this zombie was a bit beyond his expectations. Who knew that Nan Wei could no longer see Nan Wei in the later monitoring? And Lin Qin realized the seriousness of the matter. Coupled with all the zombies in the villa area, all the zombies rushed to a direction. Lin Qin was followed by their tail. Fortunately, he realized that Nan Wei had only one place to go after entering the villa, and then spared. However, the mutant zombies are terrible, but what is constant is the weakness. As long as you can hit aiming, no matter how strong it is not a problem. But the mutant zombies are not the two in front of them, and the number in the future increases a lot. It will only be more troublesome to deal with. But first solve the problem in front of you. You can prepare other things in the future. Lin Qin aimed at the head of the zombie and shot. On the Tao of the backyard, Yu reads www.yukangshu.net, and the corpses of zombies quickly gathered. It wasn't until the last two that Lin Qin had time to look at the mutant zombie. There are two mutant zombies. One is behind the corpse group, and one is next to Lin Qin. It is lying on the ground, the head blooms, and there are many bomb holes. As for the arms on the body, Lin Qin looked at the bamboo next to him, breaking a tattered clothes on the zombies. It is found that the arm is like growing. As for how to describe it, have you seen Chincho Guanyin? No, it should be said that the four-arm Guanyin. In short, the shape is very unique and strange. Never seen it. Exactly the same as that. Eating between zombies will continue to evolve. Lin Qin did not expect. The official announcement only said that the ability of zombies was a bit strengthened than the previous time, but never said that they would evolve. In addition to the normal growth of the four arms, Lin Qin did not find other different places. Lin Qin got up and lost the bamboo in his hand to leave. At this moment, a transparent crystal nucleus was looming in the rotten scalp of zombies. Lin Qin couldn't help tilting his head, holding a bamboo on the head of the zombie's head and his rotten scalp and hair. The small hole in the sieve was revealed by Lin Qin, plus a thing like glass beads. Transparent, not big, and a bit soft. The surface is like a layer of transparent film, with a small black down the middle. Lin Qin crouched curiously and reached out and waved the unpleasant smell of her nose. What? Lin Qin frowned. The bamboo repeatedly fiddled, and it unexpectedly broke the surface of the surface, exposing the liquid inside. A little disgusting, there is no smell. I don't know if it is the original tumor in this zombie's head. But whose tumor is this color? Lin Qin frowned and threw the bamboo in his hand, and then left here. With a gust of wind, the entire bamboo forest began to sound. Lin Qin couldn't help shaking his body and speeded up the pace of leaving. This atmosphere is really terrible. On the way back, Lin Qin naturally encountered a zombie. But they are all ordinary zombies. It is very easy to deal with Lin Qin. Back to the villa, Nan Wei and others were sitting anxiously on the bench of the living room, waiting for Lin Qin to come back. Seeing that he arrived safely, a person waited for a swarming. Zhang Shui was most worried. After seeing Lin Qin, he was relieved. It's okay. But I heard them say, what do the zombies mean? In their description, zombies have four arms. This is beyond her scope. Lin Qin entered the house and sat aside the same. I don't know, but it seems that they have evolved. When it comes to this, Su Chong and Wang Ren are equally nervous. What about this? There must be more than two of them. Maybe we will often encounter this situation today. We can't just sit like this and wait for death, right? Food is limited, and our weapons have been used up. In the future, weapons without defense to go out will face these zombies. Just thinking about it, Wang Yuran couldn't stand it. Su Chong was a little calm. Don't worry so much. Our food should be able to support it for a while. Fortunately, the zombies after mutation are fortunately we found it early. Otherwise, it is the most terrible when finding materials, when going out to find materials. As long as we find his weakness. But from the zombies we are currently met, we can generally distinguish a few levels. Lin Qin looked at Su Chong and was a little relieved. It's not stupid yet. Yes, no matter how the zombies have evolved, the weakness is in the head. As long as the head is aimed at the head, there will be no great threat. However, the zombies appear in a group. I believe everyone will come to the body. From the initial reaction rigid and slow to the faster, to their mutant body changes, it can be roughly divided into 3 levels. Level 1st, 2nd, 3rd. Will it continue to rise in the future? This is unknown. Don't be too scared. Take a rest in the past few days. Don't run around in the villa. Looking at everyone's heart nodded, Lin Qin didn't say anything more. Because for him, mutant zombies are also unfamiliar. Although others in the team did not say much, they thought that life was hopeless and even had no hope. Zombies can still evolve. Why can't they? The disparity of power and the lack of weapons are their most fatal weaknesses. Several people went upstairs and started to exercise. Only when it becomes stronger can there be a line of vitality. Of course, Lin Qin didn't know what they thought. Just watching everyone suddenly strengthen the exercise, it was a little relieved. They finally realized that only the way to becoming stronger. But even if everyone started to exercise, such a low atmosphere continued until the evening. Lin Qin prepared a rich dinner. I even made a bowls of bullfrog bones soup shabu. After heating the hot pot, the whole villa was shrouded in the aroma. Several people, sweating, went downstairs with a sweaty manner. I saw a variety of ingredients at a table. Fat beef rolls, lamb rolls, slide slices, spicy beef slices, hair belly, and so on. I'm dazzling, or really? This is too rich. Can't believe it. I can still eat hot pot. Zhang Shui's reaction with Nanwei is okay. After all, the last time Lin Qin also ate a hot pot in order to celebrate the birth of the team. And this time, I don't know what it is for. The atmosphere of the team that has been lost for a day has returned a lot. Everyone was sitting in front of the dining table, but none of them moved their chopsticks, waiting for Lin Qin quietly. After Lin Qin sat down, Su Chong opened his mouth. Why do we eat so well today? Wang Yuan on the side also doubted. Now the supermarket outside, it seems that there is no such fresh meat. What's more, it is even more impossible for those hot pot restaurants. How long is this power out? Are you sure I have no dream? Nan Wei was sitting on one side, and the sore shoulders made her lift her arms a little hard. You also look at Lin Qin too. These are all true. Zhang Shui also chuckled. Of course it is true, but these are not eaten in vain. Su Chong and Wang Yuan looked at each other, and then looked at Lin Qin. Su Chong said first, from today, you are my elder brother. Wang Yuan also said, Yu reads a book www.yuyukangshu.net. Yes, the same is true. The atmosphere of the hot pot was very good, pulling the emotions of the downer. But today's situation also makes other people realize the importance of stronger. Lin Qin himself is the same. After eating in the middle of the night, everyone was drunk. Su Chong touched the sofa in the living room and fell asleep. He was a big man, and no one could move him upstairs. Zhang Shui was even worse, and after drinking a little, she lay directly on the table. Wang Yuan is still sober. After all, it is a star, and the wine bureau is not the first time to drink alcohol. She helped Zhang Shui and shaken. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the 3 captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nanwei rushed in and reached Wang Yuan without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuan trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nanwei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other 2 captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nanwei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please, don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. One shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nanwei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just one house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nanwei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiao Xue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nanwei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nanwei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuan, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nanwei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nanwei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nanwei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuan frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nanwei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nanwei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The 3 survivors stood quickly. The 2 boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nanwei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing. and for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the 3 captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. "Shit! Brother Hua, that gun's loaded," someone yelled. "Take cover." "What about the hostages?" another asked. "Who cares? Save yourself." Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nanwei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now," Nanwei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other 2 captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nanwei gave him a quick nod. "Let's go. Stay close." The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people," cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. "This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please, don't shoot." Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go." But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot, 2, 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nanwei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just 1 house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Xue followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nanwei shook her head. "Xiao Xue," she said gently, "go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are." "All right." Zhang Xue made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. "Xiao Xue, where are you?" Lin Qin's voice came through. "Oh, right," she realized. "We're next door. Nanwei said it's safer here." "Got it." A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nanwei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. "We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuran," he added, clenching his fists. "We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move." Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nan Wei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nan Wei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nan Wei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuan frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The three survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing. And for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the three captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nan Wei rushed in and reached Wang Yuan without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuan trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nan Wei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other two captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nan Wei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa just one house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nan Wei shook her head. "Xiao Xue," she said gently, "go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are." "All right." Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. "Xiao Xue, where are you?" Lin Qin's voice came through. "Oh, right," she realized. "We're next door. Nan Wei said it's safer here." "Got it." A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nan Wei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. "We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuran," he added, clenching his fists. "We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move." Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. "Yeah, we were terrified." Nan Wei's face softened. "I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe." Wang Yuran looked up. "What about Uncle and Auntie? They didn't come with you?" Nan Wei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. "Hey, Nan Wei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you." Wang Yuran frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. "I'm sorry. I lost them." "It's okay," Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. "Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far." The three survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. "You saved our lives just now," Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. "No need. Let's not rush the thanks." He scanned them carefully. "First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse." He turned to Xiao Xue. "Check the girl. I'll take care of the others." Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. "It's okay. He knows what he's doing." And for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the three captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. "Shit! Brother Hua, that gun's loaded," someone yelled. "Take cover." "What about the hostages?" another asked. "Who cares? Save yourself." Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nan Wei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now," Nan Wei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other two captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. "Let's go. Stay close." The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people," cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. "This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please don't shoot." Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes, yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huaping's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. One shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huaping's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nanwei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa just one house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nanwei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiao Xue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nanwei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nanwei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt you, Ron, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nanwei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Auntie? They didn't come with you? Nanwei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nanwei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuan frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nanwei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nanwei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The 3 survivors stood quickly. The 2 boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nanwei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing. And for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the 3 captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nanwei rushed in and reached Wang Yuan without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuan trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nanwei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other two captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nanwei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nanwei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just 1 house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Xue followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nanwei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Xue made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiao Xue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nanwei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nanwei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuan, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nanwei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Auntie? They didn't come with you? Nanwei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nanwei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuran frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The 3 survivors stood quickly. The 2 boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing. And for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the 3 captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nan Wei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nan Wei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other 2 captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nan Wei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just 1 house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Xue followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nan Wei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiaoxue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nan Wei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nan Wei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuran, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nan Wei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuran looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nan Wei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nan Wei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuran frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The three survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiaoxue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing, and for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the three captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nan Wei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nan Wei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiaoxue freed the other two captives, Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness. No second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huaping's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. One shot. Two. Three. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huaping's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nanwei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just one house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nanwei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiao Xue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nanwei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nanwei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuran, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nanwei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuran looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nanwei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nanwei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuran frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nanwei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nanwei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The three survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nanwei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing, and for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control. When Lin Qin's precision shooting took down one of their own, the entire group panicked. The chaos sent the thugs scattering, diving behind cover, their bravado instantly gone. Even the three captives they had been forcing forward were momentarily forgotten. Shit, Brother Hua, that gun's loaded, someone yelled. Take cover. What about the hostages? Another asked. Who cares? Save yourself. Survival instinct kicked in. No one had the time or nerve to worry about prisoners. Nanwei rushed in and reached Wang Yuran without issue. She quickly removed the cloth gagging her, pulled her into a steady embrace, and softly comforted her. Wang Yuran trembled, her eyes welling with tears. Wei, it's okay now, Nanwei said, gently patting her back. Meanwhile, Xiao Xue freed the other two captives. Wang Zihao and Su Chong. Nan Wei gave him a quick nod. Let's go. Stay close. The group immediately moved, slipping away under Lin Qin's cover fire, heading back toward the safety of the villas. Lin Qin remained behind, rifle raised and steady, covering their retreat. 6 enemies were still hiding, crouched behind garbage bins, cars, and low walls, too afraid to make a move. Lin Qin scanned the area carefully. It wasn't clear who the leader was. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Wait, brother, we didn't know they were your people, cried Zhang Huapeng, trying to sound sincere. This must be a misunderstanding. Just a case of mistaken identity. I'll give you everything I've got. Please, don't shoot. Zhang Huapeng peeked out from behind a trash can, pretending to humble himself. He bowed low, hands up in a peace gesture. In his mind, he was biding his time. Once this gunman let his guard down, he'd strike back. But for now, he acted like the picture of submission. Another lackey chimed in. Yes. Brother Hua is a righteous man. We'll give you all our supplies. Just let us go. But Lin Qin's eyes narrowed. Brother Hua. The name triggered a memory from his past life. A painful, vengeful one. So it was them. They were the reason he had once been forced to hide in a filthy garbage dump, hunted like an animal. There was no forgiveness, no second chance. Without hesitation, Lin Qin aimed at the trash can. Even though it was made of stainless steel, it couldn't withstand the force of his rifle. Bullets tore through it, shredding Zhang Huapeng's shoulder, then his skull. Blood sprayed. His body crumpled like a puppet with its strings cut. The others tried to flee. They didn't get far. Before they could take more than a few steps, Lin Qin gunned them down. 1 shot. 2. 3. Bodies dropped one by one. Lin Qin didn't shoot out of cruelty. He wasn't a ruthless killer. But this group had wronged him before, and he wouldn't give them another chance. He knew Zhang Huapeng's type. Petty, vindictive, the kind who'd wait in the shadows to strike back someday. Better to end it now, clean and final. Lin Qin didn't even glance at the corpses. The scent of blood was already thick in the air. It wouldn't be long before zombies arrived. Meanwhile, Nan Wei led the rescued trio up a side wall into the villa area and guided them to a smaller villa, just one house over from Lin Qin's. It was her temporary shelter since parting ways with him. Lin Qin's place was too obvious, and besides, she didn't have the keys. Zhang Shui followed her inside, hesitating briefly at the unfamiliar surroundings. She looked like she wanted to ask something, but Nan Wei shook her head. Xiao Xue, she said gently, go to the door and guide Lin Qin. He might not know where we are. All right. Zhang Shui made her way to the front gate, keeping an eye on the road. Soon, she spotted a familiar silhouette approaching. She waved frantically, but stopped herself from shouting. Noise could attract unwanted attention. Just then, the walkie-talkie crackled. Xiao Xue, where are you? Lin Qin's voice came through. Oh, right, she realized. We're next door. Nan Wei said it's safer here. Got it. A moment later, Lin Qin appeared, rifle slung across his chest. He entered the villa calmly. Inside, Nan Wei was tending to her friends, asking questions, ensuring they were okay. Wang Zihao was visibly upset. We were on our way to find you. They ambushed us and took us captive. They wanted to hurt Yuan, he added, clenching his fists. We had to lie and say the airdrop supplies were hidden in your villa. That's how they forced us to move. Su Chong, bruised and holding his side, nodded grimly. Yeah, we were terrified. Nan Wei's face softened. I went to your hotel looking for you, but you were gone. I came back right away. I'm just glad you're safe. Wang Yuan looked up. What about Uncle and Annie? They didn't come with you? Nan Wei paused. A heavy silence settled. The others noticed and quickly changed the subject. Wang Zihao forced a smile. Hey, Nan Wei, hungry? We found a few packs of instant noodles. I even saved one for you. Wang Yuan frantically patted her pockets, trying to find them. But they were gone, lost in the chaos. Her expression crumbled. I'm sorry. I lost them. It's okay, Nan Wei said softly, hugging her again. At that moment, the front door creaked as Lin Qin stepped in. Everyone turned to him. Nan Wei stood up. Everyone, this is Lin Qin. He saved me. He's the reason I made it this far. The 3 survivors stood quickly. The two boys even moved as if to shake his hand. You saved our lives just now, Wang Zihao said. Lin Qin raised a hand. No need. Let's not rush the thanks. He scanned them carefully. First, I need to check you for injuries. We can't risk an infection, or worse. He turned to Xiao Xue. Check the girl. I'll take care of the others. Wang Zihao and Su Chong looked at Nan Wei, unsure, but she nodded reassuringly. It's okay. He knows what he's doing. And for the first time in hours, it felt like things might finally be under control.